Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. How are we doing today? Are you good? Are you good? You made it to the end of the week, man. You made it to the end of the week. Pat yourself on the back. It's Friday, and I am happy it's Friday. Man, this week's been one of them, man. It's been one of them. It's been a week, right? It's been a week. I'll say that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Can't wait to just try and just de-stress a little, you know what I mean? Just de-stress a little bit, chat. And hopefully we're going to do that today by getting my cheeks sprayed on Arknights as well. We'll see. I'm looking forward to checking out the event. Now, I haven't tried it out at all yet, so we need to get some grinding. And there's like 12 days left on the event, yeah. And there's 12 days left. But how are we all doing out there? Let me turn this down a little bit, man. That might be a little bit loud, actually. Let me turn that down. How we doing now? Let me get chat up a second here. Yo, Duck Club, what's going on? Dagger, welcome to the stream. Ends the noob, welcome to the stream. How's it going? I better see 30 minutes of gameplay today. I'm unsubscribing. I think we can maybe... It's a big ask. We'll try. It's a big ask. Yo, BS Commissions, what's going on, mean man? Void, welcome. Vez, how's it going? Yeah, welcome to the stream. Zera, how is it going? Guys, drop a like on the stream. It's getting out there. It's very much appreciated as well. Shout out to everybody who's here right now. So yeah, we're going to check out a couple of things going on in the Gacha space. There's a couple of videos I wanted to check out, actually, that I've been meaning to have a little look at. We've got one about Blue Protocol. We've got one about Gacha games from Sunil, which I've been meaning to watch. Apologies. We've got one here as well from Mephisto, talking about issues with Wuthering Waves characters. And then we're going to check out the glitter video as well regarding Ark Knights launch, because I won't allow my cope to be interrupted. So we have to rally against logic and lean into the cope, okay? We've got to lean into the cope. Cope or nothing. Yo, Easy, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Yo, Jamie, what's up? You finally got me Abby engine today. It's, yeah, dude, man. She's so cracked with a weapon as well. It's ridiculous. I need to get back on ZZ, actually. You know what? I haven't really played much the last couple of days. I'm not going to lie. Been trying to rest my throat as well. Trying to sort this stuff out with the car as well. And there's been a whole... ain't going to get into it. I'll let you know once it's all sorted. But it's just been hassle, man. It's just been hassle. So I don't know what's going on there at the moment. But hopefully I'll know later on. And we can get that sorted. But I am ready for the weekend, chat. I'm ready for the weekend. I've got some chores to be doing this weekend, but I'm kind of looking forward to doing it. I need some manual labor so I can just zone out, you know? I need some manual labor. I don't think the game's cutting it. I need to just be like doing some physical labor. Switch off my brain, you know? But yeah, we're going to obviously check out the event today because I'm really looking forward to checking it out. Give you a little whirl as well. Obviously, we're not E2, so we're not going to get the full benefit, but we'll see what he's saying. We'll see if he's any good, at least at my level. And then Monday, chat. Monday, we are going to be continuing Chapter 7. We're going to get to the big boy, and we're going to beat the big boy. E1, maybe. We'll see. And then we're going to do some IS as well. I've been meaning to do that this week, but you've obviously seen the streams have just been all over the place this week. The content's been a bit up in the air, right? I do apologise for that, but next week we're going to be back on the grind and getting things locked back in and getting back on things. I have zero tolerance for the nonsense. Evil Pixels should be like, no, yep, straight to gameplay. Any new drama? Not really. I did upload a video yesterday if you guys want to check that out, like a little gacha gaming roundup. I suppose, you know, the Persona devs are kind of just cooking themselves again. But yeah, some devs doing some shitty stuff, but really, there's not really anything going on in the space in that regard. You know? It's kind of quiet at the moment, right? 2.5 drop for Wuthering Waves. I've heard it's really good. I need to get back on Wuthering Waves, but then again, though, every patch for Wuthering Waves is really good according to everybody plays it, so I'll have to check it out for myself, but I've heard it is, there's some good stuff in there, so I do want to check it out. It looks like as well, I'm a little bit disappointed. It looks like for Lova, his signature weapon's really needed, right? Which is a shame, because my luck with the signature weapons in terms of having to go hard pity is a bitch, and I don't think she's really going to benefit my account too much, is she? Really? Especially when I got Cammy. So I'm like, kind of want it for the waifu meta, but I'm like, I've got no pulls. I'm not spending for the waifu meta, so I don't know, but I need to catch up on the game full stop. I think I need to get back on enjoying Wuthering Waves just for the story and treat it just like that. And I think I'll have a lot more fun with Wuthering Waves at the moment. I'm looking forward to checking it out though. Neo, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. 2.5 story is fucking amazing. I've heard a lot of people saying it's really good. Been a while since I was invested in a story that much. See, like, I've heard some people saying it's the best story that they've had in gaming, and I'm like, okay, I think you're tripping now, right? I think you're tripping now. So, yeah, but I've heard it's good across a lot of people, so I'm expecting big things. I shouldn't really expect too much, because that might disappoint me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I am looking forward to checking it out. The story is actually decent. Watch Bram playing. It was interesting. I'm proud. Okay, all right. Actually better than the last patch. No joke. Kuro redeemed themselves almost. Okay, this is good to see then. I like this. I like this. I just watched a video on that, and if you have string mass, you'd be okay with rollover. Really? Do you not get a massive damage drop off without a signature? Did you see Pixel Hypergryph put out a reward for people that help them catch the leakers? Yes, I actually put a video up yesterday. We went over that in the video. I didn't mention it in the title because it was just like a passing thing in the video. But yeah, I saw them offering money to people to to find the source. It's kind of funny. Putting out bounties on people, man. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Comments? Maybe it's the only story they read. Yeah, I think that's a thing sometimes. Some gacha gamers that like they've played a couple of gacha games and that's all they play, and they forget like some of the insane stories in gaming over the last 30 years. You know, yeah. He's not the best in gaming, it's the best we've had yet. What, in Gacha, you reckon? Or in Wuwa? Seems to be had a 3-second difference in the tower. Okay. So, right, Limbus Ark Knights in my book. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, so far for me, I haven't played Limbus. Zenless story's dropped off a little bit since 1.4. I really like Zenless' story, though. I wouldn't say it's a better story. I don't know, man. I just really like Zenless' story. I like the whole vibe, but I think Wuwa's got obviously a bit more of a lot more potential in the story, right? Itself. But yeah, for me, Arknights is a better story in my opinion. Again, no, I can't comment. 2.5 might change my mind, right? I can't comment, but you know, I've only played up to 2.2. I've missed the last couple of patches, but yeah, Arknights is a better story in my opinion. I'm just trying to think of other gacha games as well. Do you know what? I quite like Path to Nowhere story as well. I didn't play bits of it, but I quite liked it. Yeah, I'd say for me, Arknights is probably the best at the minute. But again, I haven't played Limbus, so I might change my mind when I play Limbus. The leaker is apparently being fined close to 5 million. Really? Also, guys, don't sweat in the league here. Don't want to be small. Yeah. I ain't played it either, so if we can keep it just to its peak, and that's enough. You should start Limbus because the story's really peak, and he got voice actor as well. Yeah, I need to. I just want to get a little bit further into Arknights first, and then I can like treat Arknights as like something that I want to get through the story at least before we watch it. And obviously, once we're E2'd, we'll be able to push through the story a bit quicker as well, won't we? We'll see when we get forced to E2 as well. Zenith has gone for a different vibe than the others. It's way more bright. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's why I've been really enjoying it. I think it's that like that juxtaposition compared to all the others. It feels. Now I know like it is probably gonna branch out into a lot bigger of an arc, and I know it is like there is some stuff that is quite like massive in the story, but it just feels a little bit more self-contained, and there's just something I quite like about it. It feels a little bit like more, I don't want to say grounded because it's not grounded, right? But you know, the scope I quite like that it feels small in a sense, but there is big stuff going on. You know, it doesn't feel like we're like gods fighting gods kind of thing. You know, people always go top shelf with their descriptions, the best ever for literally everything. Yeah, well, yeah. Ark Knights leaks, new characters in new place. You excited for Battlefield 6? My expectation is low. I am. I actually quite like the position that 2042 is in at the moment. I haven't played it for a couple of months, but I think the game got to a point where it was a lot better. There's definitely things I would like to not see in this Battlefield, right? I would like it to go back to... Like, I'd like it to just be a modern version of Battlefield 4, if I'm honest, right? With obviously some tweaks and some additions, of course. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like Battlefield, I do. I like Battlefield. I'll definitely be playing that when it comes out for sure. Wait for episode 7 and 8. It's peak. Running to like 2040. Yeah, I do as well. On launch, it was ass, right? It was ass. But I think they got that game to a point where it was actually fun, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with it. I do hope though that when it comes to sprinting, they get rid of like that tack sprint. You know, I want to run and then I want to sprint to my gun be wobbling a little bit. I can't stand all that like up in the air stuff. Like, I know it's a really silly little thing, like, but yeah, I'm hopeful. Like, right? I do like Battlefield. I do. I've become dapper for fuck's sake. Read my last speaks. Oh shit! I missed that comment actually. Fuck! I just saw that. I'd say Limbus story is competitive to Arknights story. Both game stories amazing. Don't worry about that though. Surely he's also fighting gods in it. Probably, yeah. Again, I reckon we will get. I hope no, but we probably will, right? Yeah. You know, and I'm not against it, but like, obviously, I don't know where we're going in the Arknights story and stuff, right? But that's one thing I really like where Arknights is at the moment. You know where I'm in the story and what I've been enjoying. Like, you know, it's a fantasy world that feels very relatable because of all the connections between people. The obviously, you know, like Reuinion, what's going on with Reuinion. A lot of stuff operating in the grey. You know, you've got this like world that's kind of like torn asunder and everybody has to do what they've got to do to survive, and I like it. There's no tax sprint. That's good then. That's good. They put rainbow skins in Battlefield 1 month after release, and Rick and Morty. Both Limbus and Arknights have great storytelling, but the presentation Limbus is more palatable because his voice compared to Arknights 45 minutes. Yeah. As I say, this is why I can't wait for Endfield as well. Like, I'm hopeful that Endfield has the story chops that Arknights has, but we just get it told in a way that's obviously going to be, I'd say, obviously, I think better for most. I suppose it's a little bit subjective. Some people really like to read visual novels. I do as well. But there is moments in Arknights where I'm like, man, it'd be so cool if we could see that happening now. You know, animated, like, that would be so cool. So yeah, I'm hoping that Endfield, you know, does its thing. Yes, we're going to be reacting. We're going to do a little React Andy slop today. Gripping, compelling. I have no idea that what those words mean. How's it going, team? Welcome to the stream. Limus is the only story to drag emotions out of me. Can't wait, nearly got me. I don't know if a gacha game, like, the Frost Nova stuff was quite, what's it? I think that was done in a really good way. Yeah, I don't know. What's the most emotion I've felt in a game, man? I'm just trying to think now. I know it's a weird one, but like Metal Gear Solid back in the day did. Mass Effect 2 did. Mass Effect 2 did. Like, Mass Effect actually, was it in Mass Effect 2 or was it Mass Effect 3 now? You know when you lose Mordin? Was it in 2 or was it in 3? When I lost Mordin, that got me, that did. I'm not gonna lie, that got me. That got me, because like I'd spend so much time with the characters. Did I see a reverse he's collabing with? Is that the Assassin's Creed one? I got me hooked. I would lay in bed reading the story, not like crazy emotion, but I could not put down some stories. Just got you and Blaze ult on my newly made ult. My main is filled with necrosis, so I'm not going crazy for the banner on that account. What's going on, Kneecap? Welcome to the stream. Nice on the pulls as well. Let me see the advantage of having a smaller cast that you're going to stick around with for 99% of the story, so it's easy to connect to them. That's a good point, yeah. I think as you have bloated casts that just like... I think this is, like, say, where a lot of gacha games, like, it's hard to get an emotional attachment. It's like in a show, isn't it? When a character's brought in an episode, and then they die like that episode, or like the next episode, it's like, okay. I didn't even know the character, like, how he was supposed to build up on an emotional attachment to, you know? That's why, like, you know, for me, like, Game of Thrones did a really good job of that, right? You know? Well, I guess I won't spoil you, but I'm sure you're probably watching now. Obviously, what happened to Ned and stuff, and, you know, people who was like, oh, these are the main characters, and then he was like, oh, what the fuck? You know? That's like important deaths, I think. Yeah, agree, Rex. Being a visual novel style does allow for massive scope, right? I love how whoever gives you a warning banner after playing for over 3 hours, like I'm used to playing AAA games that require 10 hours at a time, right? Games like Go Touch Some Grass. Loser. Oh yeah, by the way, there's been Love Me, got Pop 1U, Shoot, Holdera, Bazemka, and I'm swimming in Peak. Damn, man. Yeah, I got fucked a little bit. Well, it wasn't terrible, like, you know, compared to other gacha games, but wasn't like, wasn't insane. I think Arknights strength the big cast on different POVs, countryside's evil good, not just the main cast that tells a story of terror rather than just Rhodes Island. Yeah, anyway, going back to like the gacha thing. Like, I felt emotions in Arknights because I think the story's been told in a good way so far. And even though there's like, obviously there's a big cast of characters, it feels like it's spending enough time on the characters that you're with and meeting that it feels good. Things building up well. Yeah, I think where sometimes it gets a little bit lost in gacha games is like, you know, where characters get introduced and they expect you to feel emotional attachment to them like pretty quick, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling this, man. You know, I met this character like an hour ago, kind of thing, and it's like now I'm supposed to feel something. You're watching the CN stream tomorrow. Is that the AK stream? What time's that start? 11:30, yeah. So someone say that AK's approach on storytelling is more so telling the story of terror rather than the characters sometimes. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I know this is and I'm not comparing them, right? I'm not necessarily comparing them, and this is not to put Arknights down, but I'm not comparing them because I think it's one of the greatest works of fantasy going. It's obviously, I think, to something like Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings is a massive epic, right? But if you read like things like the Silmarillion and other Tolkien works, and you read into the lore and the Unfinished Tales and a bunch of other stuff, right? Even things like The Hobbit and that, you realise that that story, although an incredibly important story and a finish of an age, right? It's incredibly important, but it's kind of like just another part of another weave in a massive tapestry, you know? There's like, obviously there's been bigger and badder guys than Sauron, you know? I like that. I like that. I need to, don't I, actually, Dagger? I really need to. I should pop him a message, to be fair. Yeah, I see that in WoW quite a lot. I didn't get enough time to care about characters and then it's gone mostly forever, maybe. Yeah, I think a lot of gacha games do it, to be fair, though, don't they? I think a lot of gacha games are guilty of that, of, you know, shipping in characters and then dropping them, like, too fast for you to really give a shit about them. And even that, it's not even so much that. I'm like, okay, I don't need to, for me, like, I like it when games give me emotional hits, right? But when I'm playing things like gacha games, depending on the gacha game, obviously, I think it's different. So far, Ark Knights has given me little hits of that here and there. I don't go searching for, like, well, I want this to be really emotionally impactful, but I want the story to feel like it's not having stuff shoehorned in, necessarily, and I think that's the problem with gacha games for me sometimes. It's not that I'm like, oh, yeah, I couldn't get attached to that character. It's just didn't feel natural, and obviously, because a lot of the time it doesn't, because it's based around the banner's out, we've got to shove this character in, kind of thing, right? Pixley now talking about Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah, dude, I'm massive Lord of the Rings fan. Are you gonna ask, I just read that, hard to get into. Once you appreciate how big and massive it is, you'll see all kinds of emotions from different POVs. Hey Kathy, what's going on? I'm saving everything out for Kaltar's possible awakening. I have a suspicion they're going to make him have a limited... I hope so, because the dude deserves some respect, man. If they ain't going to fix the character, they need to give him, like, an altar, right? They need to give him an altar. Alright, let's get things started, man. Let's get things started. Just get it going, boys. Just get it going. Hold up a second. Do 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 do. Arknights is a book like no joke. What's your thoughts on the credit card company censoring? Hey, it sucks, doesn't it? Right, like they're trying to stop our goon, even though, like, I'm not. For me, I don't bother with, like, not safe for work games, right? You know, they're just not usually for me. I goon on a bit of like gooning on some gacha games, right? I don't like dabble in the hardcore shit that's in Steam. Like, if I'm gonna do, I'll just go jerk off to some porn or something, like, you know what I mean? But even though it doesn't necessarily affect me, right? It doesn't necessarily affect me. It's shit, right? Because it's one of those things where it's a slippery slope, right? Okay, they might be coming for your incest games or whatever, right? Not my thing, right? Not my bag. But it's like, how far do we go? Did it start because a bunch of angry women in Canada were pissed off about it, right? I understand, like, sexual material and games and, you know, streaming and stuff and kids getting access to it. Totally get that, right? Totally get that. But, like, it's just, the problem is not so much, like, the games themselves potentially being censored or taken off something like Steam, because Steam were like, you know what, this is a bit too saucy, we don't want people watching it. Alright, okay? It's that these payment suppliers like MasterCard and Visa and stuff, I think, isn't it? have got such a fucking monopoly on international payment systems, on ramps and off ramps, that there's kind of like, there's no way to get around it, right? There's no option. So it's like becoming a victim of monopolies. That's the problem. This is why we need regulation in regards to there should be more competition. It's like when you look to like America in terms of internet service providers, right? A lot of people in America get shit on in their internet service providers because the internet companies kind of have agreements where they're like, okay, that's your turf. It's kind of like the mafia back in the day. That's your area. This is ours. We won't come into each other's areas, and that way we can charge them the fuck what we want to whoever. And they've got fuck all to do about it, and the customer service is poor as well. And that's the major problem, right? It's not necessarily these games maybe not being available, even though, of course, you know, it's not great when things get taken down because it's offending somebody else. Because at the end of the day, you can't give offense, you can only take offense, and one man's offense is another man's pleasure, right? But again, I think this is where we need some sort of regulation, so there's more competition when it comes to on and off ramps with payment processing. Because you see with like, now I know a lot of people love to laugh at like crypto bros, right? You see it with things like that. You might not be a fan of something like crypto, right? But it's a place for people to access a decentralized market that everybody can play a part in, right? Now, obviously, that comes with all the negative and nefarious actors as well, and you can get fucking shit on operating in the space, right? But what starts to happen in that space is a bank will be like, oh, do you know what? We're going to allow you to put money onto the site where you buy the assets. You know, when you want to take your money out, we're going to block you. We're going to block you from accessing your money. You know, it's those sort of things where you've got small groups of individuals like bottlenecking what people access with their own money, right? And as long as it's legal, if it's illegal, you know, I get it, right? If it's illegal, totally get it, right? If a game's on Steam and it's illegal and it's doing fucked up shit, I'll get it, right? The pressure should be placed on Steam then to remove it. Not this way, right? Not by going, all right, then we're just going to block it, to force Steam's hand that way when it's stuff that's totally legal. It might be a bit weird. The game you play might be a bit weird, right? You might be like, yeah, that's not my thing, and I think you're a bit creepy for playing it, or whatever. But as long as you ain't breaking any laws, man, there shouldn't be getting involved, in my opinion. And a small group of women getting offended by it shouldn't be dictating to the globe what they get to spend their money on. You know what I mean? It's like I say, it's this slippery slope, right? Nobody cared when it was a not safe for work games on Steam. But then what about when it's anything else? What about when there's a political message in a game? Or what about, oh, we go back to the GTA days, this game's a bit too violent, we're gonna stop you buying this game, kind of thing, you know? That's where it can end up, right? And I'm a type of person, I believe in the free market. Now, the free market's not entirely free. There's regulation. Of course, everything's regulated, and there should be regulation. But I am a great believer in the free market, right? I don't think small groups of powerful individuals should dictate how people get to spend the money, where they get to spend the money, and control the prices and stuff like that. Now, I know that's how we live, right? You know, and a lot of things. But when it comes to this sort of stuff, it's just seeing that creep into this space now, and it's not good, is it? Right. It's not good. The funny thing is people are going to find ways around it. It's barely enforceable. Well, yeah, exactly. But it just shouldn't be the case. It's just that once it starts to happen, they get more savvy and they get more robust, and then it becomes more problematic, right? It gets put more problematic. That's the problem. What's up, Night? WSP picks. What's that? Sorry. Guna finds a way. So Bitcoin started. Well, yeah, Bitcoin was like a retaliation in a sense to the market crash of 2008, right? You know, like, some people love it, some people hate it. I dabble, right? But decentralization has some negatives, but it has a lot of pros, right? It has a lot of pros. If it's regulated to the point where on-ramps and off-ramps can't block stuff, it's great. It is great because no one individual has the power to block you, you know? especially in a network like the Bitcoin network, right? Now, obviously, of course, there's different cryptos where they do. DEXs can have that power sometimes, even though they're decentralized. We've seen decentralized exchanges roll back stuff like it's like, okay, this is supposed to be decentralized, so it's not perfect, right? But you know, decentralization, I think in anything's a good thing, personally. Main thing people think is it's not about not safe work content. It's company testing their ground. If they can block that, they have the power to block anything. Oh yeah, exactly. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope. Anything like this, you know, it might start with one thing and then 10 years down the line, you're like, oh, okay, they're blocking this now, you know? And then because a precedent's been set, it's been allowed. Next thing you know, they're blocking all this shit that you know what I mean? It's like in the UK, right? You'll have the bank try and stop you buying crypto or selling your crypto, right? Or off-ramping your crypto profits. But then they'll let you spiff 15 grand up the wall on a gambling site. And they tell you that they're protecting your money. They're protecting you from potential losses. It's like, bro, what the fuck? You know? I mean, there's already been happening whenever there is anything China critical and Chinese investors. Oh, of course. And I'm against that as well. You know? I'm totally against it. I get nations, countries and stuff wanting to defend their ego at the end of the day, their outward look to the world, but I'm against it. You know, end of the day, I'm one of those people, you know, you should be free to talk about what you want to talk about, kind of thing. It's never going to be like that. I think if anything, I think that sort of stuff peaked in the 90s and the 2000s. I think in the West we're going back from that sort of stuff, right? You know, I think we are living in a world that's becoming increasingly sensorial, increasingly and I think the thing is as well, because certain groups of people have done so well at getting offended at stuff, right? That now you're starting to see this back and forth, that people on the opposite side are happy to see the other side getting censored because that side got them censored, and then we just go down a route where everybody gets censored, and you know, who wants to live in that world? You know, I don't want to live in that world. The rich are the new kings and aristocrats. Yeah, I agree. I think for me personally, especially, obviously I'm probably speaking a bit more specifically to the West here, but like the 90s and to around about 2012, that was like, well, I don't know, man. I feel like it was like probably, I know this is a real dark thing to say, I feel like it was the peak of Western civilization, man. I think it's all downhill from here now, honestly, I do. Yeah, I agree, Kathy, yeah. It's totally cool to have age limits, stuff like that's just way better, right? If you're a fucking 35-year-old man and you want to goon out to some porn game, I think you should be allowed to, right? It's not illegal. Who's it hurting, really? You know? Have you seen the V's? I've heard stuff about it. I don't really know the internet, but I know they're shutting down, yeah. The kids are going to learn about that shit in school anyway, as I say, show them the boobs. One mismanagement led to a shutdown of the company. I can understand what you're saying, BS Commissions. I can understand what you're saying. But, like, we're in a world now, like, it's like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like, and I suppose, like, the lesser of evils is always the best choice. Do you have total lockdown or partial lockdown? It's like, you don't want any, right? And really, you want, this is where you want, like, you know, parents to do stuff. But at the end of the day, kids are kids, and kids are always going to find a way. And I think that's part of life. As long as there's nothing damaging on there, end of the day, I don't think it's going to ruin a kid's life to see some titties. You know? I'm not saying it's the way it should be, right? But, you know, it's just... No 40-year-old woman called Natasha. remember the 5th of November. Yeah, I agree. But yes, I know it sounds really conspiratorial. I think the way things are going in a lot of countries, it's designed... What is it? What's that saying now? That they want to get us to a point where you'll beg for control, you know? You know what I mean? It's not that, like, the control will be forced upon you. The people will clamour for protect us, we need control, and we'll walk straight into the mousetrap kind of thing, you know what I mean? A guy in the UK wanted to withdraw 15 grand to buy a motorbike. The bank wouldn't let him. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen that. Insane, right? Disgusting. You know, like they're literally asking you what you're doing with your money. It's like, what the fuck? Could have predicted it was between Tal Battlegrounds. Yeah, exactly right. We're still in Yap Sage. Yeah, we are. Yeah, 2030 is going to be us talking to in Morse code because we keep getting censored for real. Yeah. We use binary code. Was it 500k charity money? Damn. Yeah, I heard that like pretty much everybody left. Yeah. Okay. They just do good as you probably go dogging every weekend. Facts. It's usually the people who protest the loudest, right? You know, it's like you've seen it with like over the years with quite a lot of right-leaning conservative type politicians in multiple countries who've been really against you know, the spread of, I guess, the gay movements and stuff, and then they've been caught with rent boys in hotel rooms. It's like, oh, okay, bro. I think you were just mad at yourself there. Yeah, that's why you were like so vehemently expressing these feelings. You were angry at yourself, so you're like, I gotta do it some way. Because I can't help but like go rogering dudes on the weekend and get myself chained up to the bed in hotel rooms. Sooner or later, China's citizen credits coming to the West. Yeah, I think, to be fair, the UK are probably one of the first countries that does it, bro. Honestly, I do. Up until recently, we was the most watched country in the world. China is now. You know, there's these arguments of like, it can call it conspiratorial, whatever. Just the conversations there, these 15-minute cities and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I do. And at the end of that, I don't think it's that crazy of a conspiratorial thing to think that the people at the top want to, you know, control everybody else. Like, it's been like that for the entirety of humanity. It's only been like this last century where poor people have had such agency, right? And I don't think it's crazy to think that's not something that's wanted, right? You know? UK becoming airstrip 1, you know. Refusing to give him monies because of anti-money laundering laws and us to do everything they go too far, in my opinion. Yo, Skybird, what's up, dude? I saw you put up a new video earlier as well. I want to check that video out at some point, talking about the Arknights artwork, yeah, because I'm here for a bit of Arknights glazing, if that's what you're serving up. Captain knows about dogging. Let's be honest, the people who put this shit through Parliament are probably so old that... Exactly, yeah, exactly, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those idealistic people that think the world should be run by 25-year-olds, right? But there is the argument, you know, there's a lot of old fools in this modern world that don't even know how to use a smartphone, deciding how the rest of us are going to live the rest of our lives, right? You know? But yeah. All right, then. Shall we look at some videos on the tubes? All right, no worries, Kathy, no worries. Appreciate you stopping by. I hope you're feeling better as well. Guys, as well, if you haven't already, be sure to drop a like on the stream. It's very much appreciated. Oh, yeah, easy. I remember that shit. It's, you know, it's the blind leading the blind sometimes in leadership in parts of the world, right? Did you guys see that video? Did you guys see that video of Trump? Oh, it's fucking funny. Oh, let me see if I can find it. I bet I ain't gonna be able to find it now. I thought it was funny. It was funny, man. Hold up. Was he? I think it was with Powell, yeah. Was he with Powell? Let me try if I can find the video. Here we go. I've got it. Oh, yeah, I think I know which video you're talking about. Yeah, the Save Park one. Yeah, I can't put that one on stream. I know which one you're talking about, though. That was hilarious. That was funny. No, I'm talking about this one. The Save Park one was fucking legit. The Save Park one was legit. Let me show you this. Yeah, let me get to the point. Hot under there.
Nice to take these off, everyone.
I think, you know, when you get a bit warm, I think bro was just getting a bit warm then, like, fuck, let me get this off, man. Fucking brilliant, man. Dude looks at him like, what? What's bro talking about? Oh, love it, love it. Okay, I just thought that was funny. I've seen that video that you guys are talking about though with the South Park thing. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, it's definitely South Park coded, that's for sure. Oh god. I just thought that was hilarious, man. You know. The whole credit card companies acting in a film makes me wonder if it's possible to make a blockchain direct payment system. It is. I think it is. The thing is, at the moment, we've got a monopoly in the payment systems and the banks, right? It's facilitating a banking system that's one, decentralized, and two, directly connected to blockchain technology, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's too many people not wanting it to happen. Do you know what I mean? There's too many people not wanting it to happen. There's too many people who have got so much invested in the old ways of money, right? That what we'll see, I'll tell you what we'll see. We will see a blockchain technology. We will see being used by every government, but there'll be CBDCs. Basically, there'll be central bank digital currencies. So you will literally be using blockchain technology, but it'll be issued by the central bank of that country. So I know, again, sounds conspiratorial, crazy stuff, yeah. But hear me out. Hear me out. Let me cook, right? It'll get to a point where we're talking about these credits. You'll probably see it in China first, right? The UK have already been talking about CBDCs, right? Is that, hey, you know what? Your credit rating ain't good. Your social credit scoring good. You know that money you're just about to take out of the bank? We're going to put a stop on that. You know that car that you were purchasing? Yeah, we're not going to allow you to purchase that car anymore. We're just going to switch off your money, basically. That is now worthless, you know? I think that's where we'll head to. I think we'll head to, you know, there'll be the digital pound, the digital dollar, you know what I mean? But it'll be issued by, obviously, the central banks of those countries rather than being issued by an issuer on a blockchain that's just somebody printing it, and it's pegged to the... Because obviously what you've got on blockchain now, you've got USDC, right? And you've got USD as well. But it's pegged to the dollar, right? It's basically pegged to the dollar. But it's issued by some shady kind of people in some less than reputable places. So you got, like, obviously you got USDT and you got USDC, which are like the biggest ones here. So you got Tether and you've got USDC. This one's probably the safest at the minute because this is issued by Coinbase, and obviously Coinbase regulated as well. Yeah, we'll go to digital currency. It'll just be issued by central banks. Digital world is growing really fast while our lawmakers struggle to log into their Facebook accounts. Right. Credit card denied to a whole new another level. Yeah, man. Like, honestly, obviously, just imagine when we move to all electrical cars and there's updates for your cars. Honestly, I don't think it's wild to think, especially with all the green agenda will be a thing that's used to push it. I know, honestly, I do. Where, oh, you've driven too many miles recently. But you're not going to get to use your car today, or you get to use your car to drive to and from work. And then if you deviate from that route, your car's going to switch off. Honestly. Or you'll just get charged an excessive amount of money. I really do think that's where we'll go, honestly. It might sound crazy, but hey, call me crazy. I do. I think that's where we're going, man. Honestly. You know, we're living in a world now that's built around credit, right? Literal credit. You know, of basically you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Look at games, look at digital, the way you access digital goods. You own none of it, right? You're renting it all, right? Financing cars, mortgaging your house. Pretty much everybody's on the tick for everything, right? It's I mean, that's just public transit, to be honest. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's gonna go. You'll literally own nothing, but you'll be believing that you do, right? It'll just be a system of subscriptions, basically. You know, subscriptions. The new Battlefield 6 will cost you 2 lambs if you go back to bartering. I've got 52 shells. Can you take for shells? Oh, bottle caps, man. Let's go the full way bottle capture. All right, let's get into this video then from Glitcher then, shall we? Because, guys, I need to watch this because I can't have my copium interrupted. This game is coming August. I don't believe that. It's probably coming Q1 2026, right? But, hey, look, let me huff on the copium. This is stressing me out. It's not releasing in August. I don't think it is going to actually, though. But if it released this year, I'd be, oh my God, I'd be hyped. I think it's coming Q1 of 2026. Personally, that's just going off playing the beta, right? I haven't played a beta in this space that's been so, like, done, right? You know, just done. It felt so good. But I do think we're getting either another beta in August, or I think we're getting a big announcement, right? A big announcement. Something's happening in August, in my opinion. We've just had all this marketing. Something has to come at the end of it, right? That's my hope. But I think probably 2026, the first quarter, is when the game's going to drop. But let's see what Glitter's got to say regarding the game. Right,
welcome back to another bad impression of Charlie from Moist Critical as I talk about why the game is coming out in August or like
October beta calling it, you reckon?
Also, if I look moist, it's because I am. My room is very warm and I'm taking like cold showers 3 times a day. So I'm assuming most people are already aware, but if you aren't, there's this thing where last August, almost a year ago, Enfield's got its publishing license. It was
we know about this. Obviously, it has to release domestically. Typically, it's not that it has to, it's just that that's a window for the game to release, right? These licenses can just be extended as far as I'm aware, right? You know, and the license doesn't have to necessarily mean it can obviously release prior to that. And this is domestically as well. This doesn't affect global, right? I do believe Enfield's going to be a fully sequenced global launch, right? But yeah, these things can just be extended. As far as I'm aware, I'm not an expert on Chinese regulation, but I believe it can.
Turned into the Chinese publishing licensing. Games in China have to get a license so that they can publish. And there's this idea, there's this thought, people believe this, and to be fair, I believe this until like, I don't know, like a couple months ago still as well. People think that you have to then release within a year of getting that like approval. You don't. It's just never was real. That was never true, never real, but the information got around.
Are you telling me the internet misinformed me? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Probably an extra pay that's pretty hefty. I don't know. From what I've heard, it probably would, right? It's bureaucracy, right? At the end of the day, they're going to try and squeeze every little penny out of you, aren't they? I think it's just to basically protect the launch, really. Like, you know, if they then they come up early. Because I think they have to do it with 6 months notice. So they can't, like, say all of a sudden they were like, you know what, the game, we're ready. We're ready to go November, but it's October. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think then the launch would have to be delayed because they'd have to get the license and they can't just launch straight away. I think, again, I'm not an expert on this, but I believe that's true.
And like most people
fell for a game medal, right?
It is real, yes, that Enfield did get its publishing license August 30 or whatever last year. And wait, I mean, we can bring it up.
Do they need that to?
So this is the site.
He might say this. Do they need those to do betas as well, potentially? You know, I'm curious. I'd like to know that. Hopefully, he explains that. I'm wondering if to launch a beta, you have to have the license there as well. You know what I mean? And maybe a lot of these companies do that so they can then go on to publish a bunch of betas and tests and stuff. I don't know if that, I don't know.
Like the Chinese government for stuff that gets their publishing license. You can see Enfield right here. It's auto-translated, but I mean, it's Arknights the End. This is Enfield, right? It got it on August 30, 2024. So if indeed the license would be something that expires in a year, yes, indeed, the license will expire August 30. And you might think that Enfield will want to release before that, right? But it doesn't expire within a year. There's no like expiry to the thing. That's just not real. So if we can go look at the exact law that actually, or whatever, like the law that
I did gloss over this like regulation before. Like, is it just that they just have to re-up their payment basically? It doesn't necessarily run it. I don't know.
Relates to this stuff is just visible. We can just go look at it. Right, it's right here. This is the law that like whatever like relates to it, and we can translate
Google
like
Translate
whatever, blah 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 blah. No game publishing service stuff and whatnot, right? The part that we care about is this one number right here, number 4. Okay, we grab this, we'll put it into a decent translator, and we get some text. We get some text, and this is about, you know, whatever. After obtaining the approval, I mean, you can pause it and read it or whatever, but.
Alright, I'll pause it and read it then. Okay, after obtaining the approval documents, the Game Publishing Service Unit shall, according to the requirements of the approval documents, organise the online publishing and operation of the game, and within 7 working days after the online publishing and operation of the game, it shall report in writing to the competent provincial publishing administrative department of the place where it belongs on the time of an offline publishing and operation of the game, the address of the game that can be downloaded, the number of the operating organisation and the name of the main operating organisation, and whether it is open to top up the value of the game. If the online publication still not available within 20 working days, the reason shall be promptly explained in writing to the local provincial administrative department for publishing. Okay, so that was a kind of gobbledygook, but I think it's basically saying that if you get to that date, the game's not out, you just have to kind of say, sorry, here's the reason why. Pretty much, right? It's just basically saying to the government, we're aiming for this. I'm guessing this is our window. We might not hit it. And then you just let them know that you're not going to hit it, right? So yeah, it's kind of seems like that's right. You know, they've just got to report that like we ain't going to be on that day. This is why, and then I guess it gets extended. I assume. I would imagine.
Like, so organize the online. Or, you know. After obtaining the approval documents, the Game Publishing Service Unit shall, according to...
Bro, gaslit me into thinking he wasn't going to read it, and now he's reading it anyway.
The requirements of the approval documents, organize the online publishing and operation of the game, and within 7 working days after the online publishing and operation of the game, it shall report in writing to the competent provincial publishing and administrative department of the place where it belongs on the gamers. The game could be downloaded.
Whole lot of word salad, isn't it?
Whether it's open to the value of the game. If the online publication is still not available within 20 working days, the reasons shall be promptly explained in writing to the local provincial administrative department of publishing. Essentially saying, if your game isn't online when you said it would be online within, if within 20 working days of when you said it would be online, it's not online, you gotta like report to the peeps and be like, hey, why is it not online? This is nothing about a year. Oh, whoops. This is nothing about it being a year. And this is the law that's like in effect. I mean, if we look at this again, really, the release time of this, 2023-05-31. This law is, however, like sort of from 2016.
Publishing management regulations
from 2016, but this particular publication or whatever is from.
So like, this is literally just regulation, right?
23, right? And this is like, I believe, from all I've found, this is the newest version of this law. So the reason why there's this idea that there's a year-long timer on it or whatever, is that there was going to be an amendment to this law which would make it have a year-long timer to it, so that you would have to publish within a year.
I think I heard about this. I do remember something being spoken about that, or it was like on Google, basically. It's not like I was talking to some dude in the government in China. I saw it on Google, right? I saw it on Google, but I do remember hearing something about it.
Of getting the publish rights, right? That amendment never happened.
Okay.
It did not happen. It fell.
The government didn't work quickly? Shock Pikachu face.
Through completely at the end of 2023. So this is just an article. Well, first of all, this is actually a tweet by a Chinese user.
High connection.
The claim that a game must be launched within 1 year after passing review is a rumor. This claim originated from a draft published by the review department on December 22, 2023, but the draft was too radical, causing a sharp decline in Chinese game industry stock market, and was withdrawn. A senior official in the review department was also removed from the position as a result.
Okay. Damn. Man, see, China don't fuck around, right? An official came out with an idea. the markets didn't like it, and they were like, yeah, right, then fuck that, right? If that was the UK, they'd just be like, ah, whatever, man. Enjoy some inflation for the next 18 months. What's the job market fucked? Sorry.
And then if we go to the actual article here, this is an English-speaking article. It doesn't mention the exact thing we're talking about, but this is about the amendment and the like timing matches. China removes official after video games rules.
He's like Fallout, aren't he? He's like that. He come up the market did not like this.
Spark turmoil. It just kind of goes on like, yes, indeed. Early, so this was published January 3rd, 2024, and like a week before this or whatever, someone was fired because the draft of amendment or whatever, like it was crazy, it was insane, and people didn't like it. So someone was like fired for it. It was that bad.
That's wild, actually. That it. See, I'm saying they don't fuck around in China. Like again, if that was the UK, just be like, yeah. If they did decide it wasn't going to work, it'd take 6 months to decide that yeah, we ain't doing this anymore, and then like everybody just go about their day. But bro got put on the chopping block.
So that amendment.
Well, like you're a liability.
So there is no 1 year
the fuck
timer on the license. There's just not. It doesn't exist. Oh, and also, so
we're trying to make money here.
I don't have the original screenshot. I feel like I remember seeing the screenshot at some point. I couldn't find it for now. But there's also.
Bro, that's the worst. You know when you're making content and you know you've seen something, or your head's making you think you've seen something. You know, like the amount of times I've seen a post on Twitter or something, right? And then I'm like, I start making a video about something that's going on with a game. And I'm like, oh, let me go grab that post. That's perfect. And then you can't fucking find it. It sucks.
Thanks to the Hotaro Reki on Reddit. This is to quote from the official AK Endfield Discord, and I'm not going to read out the whole thing. Essentially, this is indeed debunking the idea that the license expires if the game is not online in 1 year. This is
okay. Let's have a little read through. Will the game license expire if the game is not online for 1 year? The answer is no. First of all, there is no relevant laws and regulations that stipulate that the game will expire if it is not online within 1 year. And there is no corresponding expiration date of the game license, which means there is no expiration date of the game license at present. As well, when you think about it logically, it wouldn't make sense for there to be something like that anyway, because, like, delays happen in video games, in films, in media, right? Because this is regulation around media, specifically, I think radio, film, television, and obviously games as well. So, like, for what happens, like, if it was a thing like, oh, the game's not ready, well, you better just fucking launch it then, or say bye-bye, you know? In other words, there is no such thing as an expiration date for the game license number. Secondly, this statement should come from December 22, 2023. The State Press and Publication Administration issued the Online Game Management Measures Draft for comment, which Chapter 3, Article 12 provides online game publishing and operating units to obtain online game approval documents should be in accordance with the requirements of the approval documents from the date of approval documents issued within a year of approval document. Okay. The original text of the regulation points out that within a year, if the game cannot be online, the company must submit written reasons to the provincial department, but the online community has been gradually misinterpreted as a year license. Finally, the policy has not been fully implemented so far due to the turmoil caused by the domestic gaming community, the gang community, after the release of this draft management plan. Okay, yeah, so pretty much just kind of going over what we've already
from
read,
like the official Arknights Endfield Discord. It was in there at some point, like the channel has been deleted or something, so you can't find the original anymore. But it's saying the same thing that I just said. Like, it's the draft that never went through. That's the reason people think this is a thing. It's not a thing. So hopefully, you know, that at least puts that one to rest. There is no August 30 deadline for the game. There just isn't. Okay. And now then there's another one that
I have been saying this for a while, right? I have been saying this for a while in regards to the licensing. I just was under the assumption that you just had to renew it, right? Which it's kind of, in a sense, it's kind of like that. You just have to say, yeah, we ain't going to meet the deadline. Sorry, right? And then it doesn't expire anyway. But it's just that's you have to let the right people know, I guess. But yeah, I was always under the impression that, like, look, man, that don't mean shit anyway, really. As I say, I just thought you just got extended and you maybe slipped a couple of dollars across the right desk and you were good to go.
That I've seen more recently pop
so
up.
I say, I still believe start of 2026,
which is
I've been saying it for a while now.
Trademark.
He's right. It's not in August 30th, September 1st.
Their deadline is October 18th. So here's the trademark application on like the official U.S. government whatever site for Patent and Trademark Office or whatever. So this was notice of allowance date October 18, 2022. So this was like when it was put in, right? This date right here is when it was like put out or whatever originally started. And if we go over here to a different site, intent to use forms or whatever, request for extension of time to file a statement, blah blah blah. Essentially, you get extensions to how long you can like. The whole point of the trademark thing is you have to have the trademark in use at some point for it to like not expire, right? Like you have to put the trademark into use. You can continue to file every 6 months for up to a total of 5 extensions.
But what about these companies that like have IP protected then, but never use it? Like these guys just re-up that shit, don't they? Every now and again. So they just request an extension then every now and again, yeah, and just pay for the protection of the IP, right? Is that what they do there? Or is it just because they're straight up? Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm not that savvy on that sort of stuff. To be fair. So,
where does it say?
You know what? These game publishers are on so much IP, trademarked IP, but they just never use it. They haven't used the game for years.
3 years of the NOA issuance date. So this is the notice of allowance date, and this is the statement of use filing. So within 3 years. So yes, indeed, with the date of October 18, 2022, the deadline is October 18, 2025. But
I imagine these can just be extended as well.
Why in the world would this force the game to come out? Right. This is just a trademark for the logo right here.
Yeah.
You can look at the details on this thing. Mark little elements, Arknights Endfield.
It's pretty much just to stop somebody come around and name a game Arknights Endfield, right? You know, that's all it is. You know, Kuro just decide that we're going to launch, you know, Arknights Endfield Wuthering Waves edition. You know? You think Project Mugen changed to Ananta because they lost it? I don't know, actually. I was always wondered why they changed that name. Don't get me wrong, Project Mugen's not an amazing name, right? I don't think Ananta is either. I can't remember what the translation is in China, though. Yeah, I think it's better in Chinese, right?
The mark consists of the stylized wording Arknights with Endfield below, with 7 Chinese characters inside a box to the right. Color is not claimed as... This is literally just a trademark for this particular Endfield, like for the Endfield logo to be used.
Wuthering Endfield, right?
Yes, it's a little annoying if the whole thing, you know, if it goes beyond the extension time that they have to file for it again, you lose some like priority stuff, and in the worst case scenario, you could get like trademark trolled or something.
Yeah. But I guarantee you a company like Hypergryph, this shit will be getting renewed soon, right? Soon. Probably, like, this stuff's all ready to go soon, I would think.
This isn't really something that's gonna... I find it hard to believe that this would be the thing that would force the game to come out.
No.
It would be a US trademark for the logo. Also... I've had like I have like basic knowledge of IP stuff. I've had like a basic ass course on like IPs and trademarks. So I don't know everything. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not completely knowledgeable on trademarks.
Well, you definitely know more than me because my trademark knowledge comes from Googling shit.
And I haven't gone through like the exact every.
Never used Project more than just a placeholder name. Yeah. Well, it's a lot of things for games like Project Nami, right? You know, pretty much every game. What is it like? Valorant, wasn't that called Project A initially when it was very first teased?
Little detail and point and comma and period, everything in there. There might be some way that this could also maybe already be counted in use.
But it did seem like that was actually going to be the name, right? It didn't feel like that was a placeholder thing, but yeah. You know, because like the Twitters and everything, they didn't. You know what I mean? Like it was.
This isn't
little cursory googling. Mugen means infinite.
Could make it into use. Obviously, we haven't had an open beta.
Project
this is
Infinite.
True.
Okay.
If an open beta is required for it to be classified.
The fuck does an anthem mean?
Sure. But then
Project Infinite's not exactly catchy.
So also here, right? Like goods and services. What is this? Like, what's this for? If you look at like the goods and services stuff, they list like brochures in the field of game, cases for smartphones, like downloadable internet public nature books,
video discs and video tapes with recorded animated cartoons. Damn,
disc
bro.
and videotapes, decorative magnets.
What is it, 1995?
Like, it's for using all this kind of stuff. This is what the trademark is filed for, that they can use it in this stuff. And then there's also some more, like, more stuff here as well. This is just my possible
I'm a laser disc, man. I'm a VHS.
Endfield was just at Anime Expo, and they sold merch at Anime Expo using this logo. This logo is visible in the merch from Anime Expo. I don't have the merch right now, but you can like find it on their Twitter or whatever. This logo is like visible on the merch. That might already make it count as it in some form in use. If they count
for sure.
merch.
Of course. I would imagine it would be.
Doesn't specifically have to be the
computer game software, multimedia content data, smartphones, handheld electronic devices, downloadable game software, in the nature of books, magazines, brochures in the field of games, cases of smartphones, photography records featuring music, cameras, eyeglasses, mobile phones. Might not, obviously, with these stuff, you have to be really specific. Decorative magnets, yeah, it's going to cover that sort of shit, yeah. Or at least part of it.
Game itself out. Right now, it does not say that it's in use. It doesn't say that it's filed for use yet, right? But this shit takes a million. Dude, it's like government trademark stuff. Anime Expo was like 2 weeks ago or some shit. They don't work that fast, okay? Yeah. They don't work that fast. The last update to this thing was on April 15th when they put in the extension request or whatever. Because that was like the deadline to put in the next extension request. They just don't work that fast. Like,
so as I say, then the extension request's already been put in, then yeah.
There hasn't even been an update since April 15th. Like, who knows? It could already even be considered in use. So that's the main two ones that where I see like, oh, there's like a dead mark, like there's a license or something that's gonna expire. One of them isn't real, and one of them just is incredibly unlikely as a reason to rush the game out suddenly. And then let's get into some like basic common knowledge, okay? Because the main thing is I still see a lot of people being like, ooh, August release. Does that make any sense? Where at the latter half of July, and there's like no signs really of release other than they.
I agree. Like, you know, again, I think we're getting some. I think something's happening in August. Honestly, I think, and it's not just because August specifically. It's got anything to do with any of these licenses or trademarks or anything of that sense, right? It's the fact that we've had this huge marketing drive. We've had all these expos where the game's been available to play at all these expos. They're selling merch. They're advertising the game. They're having that museum place where they've got physical items there, right? They're being in Paris, Germany, or they're going to be in Germany. They've been in America. They've been in Japan, obviously in China as well. Typically, with games and any sort of media, you don't usually do that just to go radio silent for the next 6 months, right? Now, you typically follow that up with something to then allow that hype to continue. It would be a bit weird if they were just like, thanks for coming to all the expos. See you next year, you know? So I think we get something. Now, what does that mean? Another beta test? Maybe. Likely. Possibly. Who knows? Or is it an announcement date? You know? Maybe an announcement window. Or potentially a new PV, you know? A new gameplay trailer. A teaser. Something like that, right? I think we'll get something like that. Maybe Enfield is different. Maybe they might just go radio silent, right? And it's been done before. It's not like there isn't a precedent set. Companies do it all the time. But typically, if you look at all the stuff they're doing as well, they're not just doing pop-up stands, right? They're not just doing pop-up stands in the corner of an expo. We're seeing some huge floor space being took up with massive amounts of money spent, right? They're not just throwing out chump change here to set up a little booth with one dude and a girl badly dressed up as one of the characters and 5 cheap PCs, right? They're going in hard, which if you think about what a company does, they usually do that for a reason, right? Marketing isn't typically done in a vacuum. It's usually leading up to something. So I would think that something's going to happen after all this. I said, like, once all these expos are done, I expect something. But, like I say, who knows, right? Who knows?
Like, they're at some conventions and stuff. You don't just suddenly be like, oh, game release in month. You want a little bit more lead up time for like marketing and hype and so on. You don't just shadow drop the game suddenly at the end of August. You know? So like, even just based on that, it's like you should have maybe realized that, okay, there's clearly something here. They're probably not going to release in August.
Which it's happened, right, with games, but it's not going to happen with these, right? It has happened. Frick, man, Oblivion is a perfect example of that, right? But it's not going to happen, I don't think.
I don't know. Maybe they could release in October. I don't know. Maybe we get like a release date in August or something, and they'll be like, oh, it releases in 2 to 3 months or whatever. there are some reasons you could maybe expect it to release around, I don't know, October or November this year. If I was to put a bet on like the earliest possible time, it would be like late October or
probably, yeah. I don't think it's coming this year. I think I don't know. I ain't a game developer, right? Just from playing the beta. Again, I've played a few betas in the gacha space, and I've played a shit ton of betas in gaming over the years. Alphas, pre-alpha tests, right? And not just in gacha, but in gaming. In gacha, I think it's the best beta I've played, where I'm like, dude, this feels like the game's ready. And you know, it's one of the better in gaming, right? I've played some game betas, alphas and stuff where you're like, dude, this is not ready, and it's not ready anytime soon. From a production standpoint, the game felt kind of ready, right? You know, I don't want it to launch too early though, because I didn't invest myself in the story too much, because of course I want to do that when the game comes out, because Arknights story's been amazing so far, but I want them to cook on the story, right? I saw weak points when I was playing. I know a lot of people are a little bit worried about that, but that's what I'm bothered about. Is I hope they're at a point where game's kind of done. They're just putting the sprinkles on, and then they're adding that extra layer of story. They're really working on that to make sure they've got something that's ready to go. And now I don't mind the story being less than peak on launch. I just hope that we head to that direction, right? But as I say again, in terms of like literally just like the quality of the beta, it's one of the best, man. Right? I think if you ask, I don't know if you guys played it, if you ask people who played it, right, and people who liked it, now if you didn't like the game, you didn't like the game, right? I don't think you'll find many people who go, yeah, that game's nowhere near ready, right? Unless you're probably talking about story elements, maybe. In terms of gameplay, it felt fucking good, man.
Or November-ish.
You know? Felt good.
For a myriad of reasons, but like earlier than that, I don't see it happening. But
I think it'll be Q1 next year.
I think that's it. Bye. Goodbye. I guess put your thoughts in the comments or something. I don't know. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
I think Q1 next year. So what, we're looking January, February, March, April sort of time. That's what I think. Probably at the earliest. I don't think it's gonna come this year. If it does, bonus, right? But even though I want the game yesterday, I would rather them take a few extra months and the game be better, right? Of course. I'm very much looking forward to this game, and I want it to launch not just as a good game, but in a good state, right? I don't want one of these launches where it's like Black Beacon or even something like Wuthering Waves, which recovered quickly. I just don't want it to launch and it to be like, fuck, it's a shit show for a couple of weeks, right? I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I'll take a little bit extra in that regard. But yeah, I think probably quarter one next year. But hey, yo, maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's tomorrow, right? Reddit says that anyway, right? Look, Enfield tomorrow. So there you go. It's happening tomorrow, guys. All right, it's done. It's done. Wakanda says tomorrow. It's releasing yesterday. What do you mean? Same would disagree. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, for some reason, any 2025 launch by far is like non-stop funnel, right? I don't want it to do that, you know? And again, lots of games recover after bad launch. Wuthering Waves had a pretty rough launch, right? Hey, the game's recovered. Cooking, right? Cooking. You know, I haven't played the game properly for a few months. I like to poke fun at the community. There's no denying the game's cooked, right? Or should I say cooking? It's not cooked, you know? And I wouldn't doubt that if Enfield did have a rough launch, that they get them. I just don't want them to go through that. I want the game to hit the ground running and just start power fisting to everything. Because I do want it to be successful. Because even though I've only played the beta, I'm a fan, right? Like I'm a fan already of the game. So I just want it to be good, man. I just want it to be good. I do. I just want it to be good. Should we watch this video from Sunil, chat? Should we watch this video from yeah boy Sunil? Because I've been meaning to watch this for a couple of days. Actually, it's been out like a week now. You've probably watched it. Is it released fully global OCM first? As far as I'm aware, it's global. But that's like the caveat as far as we know, right? There's been no official statement of this as far as I'm aware, but there's been no official to the opposite as well. We're just kind of coping on that. Hopefully, it's fully global. And the thing that makes me think that is, one, they've got a subsidiary now that's owned by themselves in regards to Griffline, which it's not unprecedented, but it would be a bit weird to self-publish at a delayed rate. That's why I think they're going through the self-publishing route, so because Arknights, right? It's a lot easier to do clairvoyance and stuff with a game like that. I don't think they want to be dealing with running two different versions of the game on a game that looks like it's going to have a lot of scope to it, right? So yeah. Can we get a day one console release? It would be nice, right? I trust Reddit with my soul. You should as well. You should. Don't listen to anybody tell you if it's in Reddit, it's not true. I have issue with Sunil's video. I will elaborate when we get to the section. Okay. The fact that it's fully translated in the beta is a pretty big tell. Yeah, the global marketing as well, right? I don't think you do marketing in Germany, Japan, Paris, America, and then be like, yeah, right, you guys are going to wait 6 to 12 months. It just seems a bit weird to do that, right? Because a lot of gacha games typically don't do marketing outside the country at all. We're starting to see it more now. Like, you're starting to see a lot more people coming to, Anime Expo, coming to the Japan Expo, coming to Gamescom, right? Or it prior to this, usually before launch, marketing. I know that specific marketing happens in CN anyway that we just will never see. But it typically doesn't do that. It would be fucking mental if they were like, yeah, guys, see you in 2027. Hello, CN. I hope they fucking don't do that, man. If I have to watch people in China playing the game for fucking 6 to 12 months, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I would be pissed. And would be a big fuck you to the community. Yeah. All right, let's check this out then. All right, and we ain't watched the Sunil video for ages, but I do like your boy Sunil makes some good content. Gacha games have terrible gameplay. Interesting. Now, I don't know if this title's to be taken literally. I think there's some arguments to be made from probably a lot of people who don't play gacha games that they do have terrible gameplay. Now, I don't mean the actual specific mechanics themselves, but more how the gacha monetization affects how the games are laid out, how the games are planned, how you access the content, and how you're potentially gated. That's what I'm assuming we're going to be talking about, because you can look at games like Ark Knights, great gameplay. Wuthering Waves, great gameplay. Zenny Zone Zero, great gameplay. PGR, great gameplay. You know, there's plenty of games out there that have got really good gameplay. It's just the format. So let's see what he's got to say then, shall we, guys? And let's get into it then. I'm going to drop a preemptive like as well. Drop the preemptive like in there. Let's do this.
Gameplay. Gachas. A comparison that has the connection of oil and water, like recommending a new album to a deaf person, like mixing macaroni and cheese with ketchup. Haiku, though, you should probably try that last one. It actually
that sounds vile.
kind of slaps. But the point of the matter is, to a lot of people, this shit doesn't mix well. A lot say these games can't have good gameplay because of their monetization method. It's like, you ever try recommending a gacha game to your friend by saying it has good gameplay, then they reply with the fucking credit card swiping gif? That's pretty much what I'm talking about. But the question is, do they got a point? Like, okay, yeah, sure, not having all the characters in a game does suck, but at the same time, is that reason enough to say all the gameplay in that game is terrible? So then I started to think about the topic more, started thinking about how the monetization method changes the games I've played a fair bit of. Then I came to a realization. People who say the gameplay in these games is worse because of their monetization aren't really wrong. And not for the sole and
well, they're not, are they, really? Look, anybody who's watching this probably now is a fan of gacha games, right? Maybe not so much the gacha, but you're a fan of the games you play. Like, I like gacha games. I'm not even going to lie. I enjoy the act of doing the gachas. I get it, right? They've got me. They've psychologically got me. I liked opening loot fucking boxes or loot crates in loot boxes in COD back in the day. But I think it's fair to say it affects the way the game's designed, right? It affects the way the end game's designed. It affects the way events are designed. It affects the way the patch-to-patch gameplay is designed. It affects the story. It affects the way characters are designed and introduced. It affects pretty much every aspect of the game. Now, some games do it better where they put the gameplay, if you like, gameplay game first, gacha second kind of style, which there is games that do it better, but every game is affected by it, right? Every single game is affected by it to a degree.
Obvious reason of you don't have all the characters, because A, that'd be a boring point to make an entire video around, and B, and some of them I fucking do, but there are valid reasons to judge the gameplay beyond that. So that's what the rest of this video is, talking about how the monetization
You don't enjoy the game, I'm not gonna lie, you find it stressful.
Sometimes directly makes the gameplay of any gacha worse. So basically, the long and short of it is, I'm turning into a hater. That's what this video is about. I'm being a hater. When it's over, expect this channel to go off into making solely COD gameplay videos. That's the future of that shit. But to talk about why I think there's truth to the statement, the first game I'm gonna bring up is Arknights.
Speaking of COD, let me just say, you know what? Honestly, I am not a fan of the way you buy stuff in COD now, the way you buy the weapon fucking blueprints. I don't like it. I preferred just getting like weapons and then you can apply skins to the weapons. I don't like the variant thing, like, because it just lacks a little bit of customizability. Like, some of them look fucking sick, right? I don't know if they've changed things in the recent COD. I ain't played COD this year, right? But yeah, I was never a big fan of the blueprint stuff. And they're far too expensive as well. And this is coming from somebody who spent hundreds of pounds on Valorant, right? You know?
It's a game that's avoided all of the regular pitfalls you would imagine with this topic. Like, you know, most people who have been playing the game for a while have about 90% of the units in it. I don't care if it's a personal anecdote or not, but most of the people on my list got about that much. I got 97% myself and more than 500 pulls stashed away. I only buy the monthly pass. The game's incredibly generous. So if that ain't the problem, then is it the gameplay? Is that just shit? You know, nope. You can bring in 12 characters that all play differently, and you could place them anywhere on the stage. It's a tower defense, which makes it so many factors change how you play the stage, like which units are bringing in, if they have faction bonuses, the stage, the mechanics of it, and where you place your units. To the point where pretty much every stage in the game actually plays differently, and this amount of hyper customization also makes it so you could easily clear the game with low rarity units. But that brings up the question, if the gameplay is great, and the gacha isn't looking to harvest your soul, what's the problem? Well, it's one every gacha suffers due to the monetization method, which is the sense of player progression. Take Elden Ring. You start off with minimal shit to use and no solid build for your character. By all means, you're at your weakest, and the enemies you fight against are also at their weakest. But as time passes in the game, you slowly build your character, get a solid build, and advance in power bit by bit. This progression is so intimately tied to your experience and how much you've explored of the world, to where you're never at risk of being too strong and making the...
What's the RPG experience, isn't it? You know, it's the path of building your character as you progress through the game, right? Which, you know, Ark Knights kind of, I guess, suffers from that in a sense, is that the character building is designed in a specific way because of the way the game works, right? I think it's one of the better ways in the space, quite a lot, actually, because, again, I hate having to deal with shitty substats that shaft me constantly.
Game boring.
But then you can talk about horizontal investment, right?
But for your first playthrough, character progression and what the game expects of you at any given moment are intimately tied. Then take a gacha game. In most of them, this shit doesn't really exist.
Man's mixing Endfield and Arknights. I've got it in the head, man.
It's the first E2 I had in the game. Basically, the final tier power character can...
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Just saying, you know? Couldn't be me.
My first E2 was Exia, and the time when I E2'd her was the Twilight of Olamon event. At that time in the game, Exia was considered a fairly strong unit, not as much as a win condition as Silver Ash, but she could put in a lot of work. In those event stages, she really propped up the run, didn't outright carry me, but shit would have been so much harder without her at E2. Now take an account made in 2025. Let's say you played when Walter was released, and you rolled for her because everyone said she was the strongest character in the game. Then she's your first E2. Then you play the Twilight of Olamon event because you could replay all old events. She pretty much solos it. Not like Exia, where it helped. Nah. She solos that shit. She walks in, pops her skill, drops 6 tactical fucking nukes, and bitches the stage. Like when Twilight of Olamon dropped, you had to use the gramophones to kill the boss that was tanky as shit. Now you just got a sadistic nuclear launcher with a switch that'll kill her in, 5 hits. And it ain't just her. A lot of the newer units also annihilate old stages, because those older ones were made when the most insane thing we had in the game was Silver Ash. Now we have Silver Ash on a cocktail of PEDs. The stage difficulty was made with player progression and the units of that time in mind. It was a good balance of difficulty.
See, I think this is why I've done the right thing in the way I've done my account in Arknights as well. I think it's because that's the thing with what's good about Arknights, full stop, right? You've got the potential to choose that. You don't have to do that, right? It's not like a lot of other gacha games where it's like, You know, if you're not doing this, it's probably going to be quite painful, or your options are very limited. There's so much variety and viability in Arknights where you just don't have to do that. That's why, like, when everybody was like, wish you down and all that sort of stuff, I was like, actually, no, we're not going down that route. We're going to just build up a semi-decent rarity team, low rarity at the start. Now, it's definitely a little bit better with some of the units that we've got, right? But I like the fact that we haven't E2'd yet. It's an enjoyable process for me. I can't wait to E2 because I'm going to get access to the rest of the game in terms of the kits and stuff. But it's fun, right? Those self-limitations in this game are really fun. But again, there's that argument. If it's there, why aren't you going to use it? But that's a player choice thing, right?
Then power creep happened. Now a lot of the older shit is a cakewalk. And the unfortunate part is, power creep is pretty much impossible to not have in a gacha game. Though I've already talked about why, so I don't want to dive too much into it. Long and short is that power creep happens naturally from character kits becoming more interesting or specialized.
I would also argue over time as well. I think it's a necessity. Honestly, it's just how you do it right. It's the speed it happens. If older units become fucking useless, how the content's built around the power creep. I think it's a necessity to have characters eventually just get better, right? Otherwise, you're just going to have this plateau and you're never going to want to advance. It's just how the rest of the game is designed around it, right?
As this time moves on, this shit happens in any game. Or it's
any
forced to
live
happen
service
because
game.
guys want you to spend more money, so they made a motherfucker with insane numbers. But the fact is, your progression in a gacha game is going to be fucking wonky. If you're a new player, newer events are going to whoop your ass, and then when you take your shiny...
There's not an option if you don't even have
event,
E2.
it's going to be boring as shit. Player progression isn't tied to what the game expects of you, it's tied to...
I mean, you can say that about any gacha game. You don't use a character if it's too strong. Oh, yeah, I do think there is... Of course. But what I'm saying is if the content caters around new... Now, of course, if you don't give a fuck about endgame shit, at the end of the day, power creep rarely matters in any gacha game if you're sticking to the story. Now, there is games that will cock-block you in story. Most of the time, if you're sticking to the story, who gives a fuck about power creep, right? But if you are planning to do events and at least partial parts of the endgame, some games will really lean into the characters, right? You know, things like Star Rail and that, you know, and there's other games that do it, of course, as well, that without those characters, you're going to have a bit of a rougher time in trying to do that content, right? Some games do handle power creep a lot better than others, right? You've got direct power creep and you've got ambient power creep, right? Some characters just get more powerful. Sometimes the game caters to them characters, and it's like, without that character, you're in a bit of a rough spot. But I agree, yeah, it is a choice at the end of the day, right?
What state the meta of the game is in. Hell, another example from Ark Knights, Patriot. He used to be the hardest boss in the game, had defense and resistance stats that made him near impossible to kill. Yet he uses stage mechanics of mines and a very specialized team, or Amia, story reasons, to take him down. In Big 2025, he's used as montage fodder.
We'll be doing this soon. We will be there. E1. We won't be doing this shit. We'll be E1. Big boy E1 moves, and we're going to make it happen.
For new characters.
The new meta.
Literally, people solo him. Hell, some characters solo the entire stage. Patriot and enemies included. The perspective of someone who fought Patriot when he dropped versus nowadays is night and day. I used to fear Patriot. Now when I look at him getting clipped, bro, it's like I just watched someone kick a puppy.
I job has power creep to incentive. Yeah.
I had to use a support unit back then to beat him. Now I'm confident I could do it with 3 characters, which is really just an arbitrary number because I know it's possible with 1. I just don't have his module. Also, another example, so I show it ain't just an Ark Knights thing, but instead something all gachas face, FGO. So many old mechanics in the game can be skipped by having Castoria. For those that don't know, her Noble Phantasm, think Ultimate, makes it so you don't take damage the next however much overcharge you had.
See, like, these sort of, like, issues for me, though, again, these are not necessarily major problems because if you're just literally making early parts of the game super inconsequential because you're using a character, I'd just argue just don't use that character if you want to enjoy it. Right? If you want to actually experience the enjoyment, you can cheese games that are not gacha games, right? There's glitches, there's mechanics that you can cheese in video games to make them super easy, right? But do you do that? You know, you can, but you're probably going to have less fun, right? Rather than having the challenge. Again, for me, the power creep's a problem when you've got content in the game that's catered for a specific set of characters. Without those characters, it's going to be nigh on impossible to do. That's when it's a problem, right? That's when it's a problem. If early content is just super inconsequential because of new characters, I don't have a problem with that personally, because That's just a thing you can say is, oh, I've got that character. I just ain't going to use it because I want to enjoy it, right? You know, like I could have made the first 7 chapters of the game so much easier, right? I could have like really lent into farm once I could start E2ing characters, just start blasting characters, use my tickets, get them all a bunch of characters, E2, ramped up modules, going in hard. But I've had more fun not doing that, right? And I know E2 is not the world solver. It's not going to change everything, but you know, and don't get me wrong, I understand where he's heading with what he's saying here, but I'm just talking about the initial early points of a game. You know, it's like any game really. Early content or even entire content can be cheesed. It's just you got to choose whether you want to do that. Are you here for the fun or are you here to just complete it?
Fucking work on you. And if you build the right team with her, you're literally immortal. Then you look at stages before she existed and all of these big strong moves the bosses can launch out do nothing. Because a lot of them have ignore and vulnerability, so they can hit you even if you're invulnerable, but Castoria exists beyond that. Ignore and vulnerability doesn't fucking work against her, unless you're only using her 3rd skill, which gives you basic invulnerability. The only thing that stops her Noble Phantasm is buff removal. That's it. But the difference between having her or not is gigantic. Not enough to really be fucked without her, but it's pretty much 2 different games if you're not using her. And guess what? Anyone can use her. The game has a support system to where any player can use her if the stage doesn't force that support slot to be used for a story character. But if it's open, and you got her, the stage is way easier than how it was when it was first released. And player progression getting hurt by newer units doesn't just exist for old content either. For example, roguelites. Going back to Arknights, my run will be considerably different if I start with a meta unit or not. And to be 100, if I'm doing the higher difficulty stages, it gets to a point where you need to start with those overpowered units. Now, all in all, not that big a problem because of how generous the game is, so when you reach that point, you'll have units that can clear it. But if you're not at that point, and are a player wanting to try out the roguelikes, your experience will be much harder or much easier compared to who you got to start with. Then compare it to Night Rain. Has 8 characters that all feel different to play, and every single run you do has, of course, randomness, but the difficulty of it is suited to what the game expects of you, not what you have to beat the game. The difficulty difference between the roguelike in any gacha game basically and a regular roguelike is considerably different.
There is definite builds though that make certain stuff easier, right? You know, not even just in like Souls-like games, in other games. There is content in most games where, you know, if you build a character in a particular way, it will make life easier for the most part, right? There's always specific, well, not always, but in a lot of games when they're designed well, there's specific things that like, yeah, this is like, will cheese or at least steamroll 80% of the content, but there's going to be that 20% where you're going to be a little bit weaker at. This is not specifically unique to gacha games. It's just it's emphasized a lot more in gacha games because, it's the monetization system's the game's catered to the monetization system, right?
In regular ones, it feels like I'm walking into an even playing field. In gachas, it feels like I'm choosing which level of bullshit I want to indulge in. Because how player progression is measured with the game in mind heavily changes if it's a gacha, and this is pretty much the case for all of them.
That's fair.
But that's enough of that problem. The next one I want to bring up is found in Genshin Impact. Now, little side note when it comes to Genshin, I do want to make the distinction between gameplay and combat. Just combat would be how the game plays from battle to battle, right? But the gameplay is more the overall package, and that would include the team building as well. And the reason I make that distinction is because how I feel about the combat and how I feel about the team building is worlds apart. The team
got a warfighter boss is cake if you finish all the side. A lot of games do that, right? Like, you can just stick to the main path, right? You know, RPGs do this a lot in general, right? You know, like, hell, even like MMOs, right? Where if you just stick to doing MSQ stuff, you'll get stat checked pretty much, right? To fight where you're like, holy fuck, bro. And then you either, you know, you've got some good setups that can get you through. You're built potentially right to be able to squeeze through a fight, or it's back to grinding, right? And as you say, if you've hit loads of side quests, done loads of grinding, spent time farming, those bosses will become inconsequential, right, at the end of the day. Again, and he's not saying it's unique to gacha games, it's just emphasized much more in gacha games, right? Because, again, it is, right? And there's a reason why a lot of people don't like these things, because in a lot of gacha games, some of the unfavorable parts of games that people don't like are kind of, they're in excess in gacha games, aren't they?
Team building and the reaction system is genuinely a masterpiece in game design. The gameplay is, yeah. The long and short of why I don't like the combat is actually a two-parter at this point. See, at first I wrote a fair bit of the Genshin segment based upon my thoughts of the game from when I last quit it. Then for gathering footage, I re-downloaded it and played the 2 new game modes in the Spiral Abyss. Then I realized they addressed the problems for some game modes and fights, but still kinda missed the mark. So the problem I have with Genshin is the combat is very formulaic. You go into a fight, start your rotation. Generally speaking, with the teams I ended up using, you swap in, Q&E, swap, Q&E, swap, Q&E, swap, do whatever you gotta do to get the damage off on your hyper carry. That's it. Most combat you're gonna do in the game is gonna be like that. A variation of swapping as you spam Q&E and sometimes left click. Throughout most teams you'll make in the game, they'll feel pretty much the same on the mechanical.
I think this is why, like, it's probably part of me was I'm a little bit burnt out on Wuthering Waves, because it's kind of the same sort of thing there. It's just a little bit more nuance, right? There's a few extra layers to it kind of thing, but it is kind of like, you know, skill, you know, build concerto, build your forte, drop your shit, outro, intro, rotation, do, you know, repeat, rinse, repeat kind of thing. Now, of course, I do think there's a little bit more nuance there, but kind of the same sort of thing, right? I think this is why I've been having such a blast with Arknights, because it's just not that. It's just not that, right?
End of what you, the player, is inputting. When you have your team, the way you play them from when you got them to hours later is gonna look pretty much the same, bar having more energy regen for tighter rotations. And other people using the team will look similar as well, because you stick to the rotation. It's optimal. That is what you're meant to do. But the rotation itself being boring and the fact that you as a player barely have reason to change this singular rotation is the problem. There's not much that pushes you outside of this. At most, you can maybe double back to a healer to press one additional button if it's needed, but aside from that, same shit, different day, with the exception of some enemies. An easy example is like Scaramouche. In that boss fight, you gotta spend the second half dodging and building up resources.
You're not ready to start the CC3 pigs.
But aside from that, the enemies in the game, and most importantly the Spiral Abyss, usually just stand
you
there
ain't
like training
ready for me to be ready.
They don't
That's
really
what
got
it is.
interesting attacks aside from something you occasionally need to dodge. It makes the game mode just a damage check instead of really being hard to clear. And that's the problem I had with the combat in the past. Now, it's a little different.
A lot of games do suffer from the damage check, stat check stuff, don't they?
Play differently. Like, the enemy in the first
again, though, plenty of RPGs do it over the years, though.
Abyss. That one, you cannot just mindlessly attack to beat it. You have to play into its mechanic. And what's that mechanic? It rips away all your energy if you stand next to it after it first spawns in. And the way to stop that is to break its shield, which will give your energy back. The thing is, a lot of characters need to use their ultimates to break it, so they need energy, which the enemy rips away from you. What are we doing here? You took the most integral part of the gameplay away with an enemy mechanic.
Yeah, Mohammed, thanks for the sub.
Why? But to be honest, aside from how annoyed I was when I first found the enemy, I did appreciate it existing, because it made me actually play differently for once. The enemy wasn't just a punching bag, I had to counter what it was doing. So, what are the ways to counter it? Well, the ones I found were wait out its time on the sidelines so the attack's done. Not optimal, you lose a lot of time. The other is freeze it before it does the attack so you cancel it. Or you can bring in characters that are more built around using their skill for damage and reactions, whose ultimate isn't really needed for breaking the shield. Or you can bring in Mavwika or Skirk, because they both don't lose their ult energy from it. They just ignore the boss's mechanic, as both of their banners are up during this rotation, and the Abyss buffs up pyro and cryo damage. Kind of feels like you're putting on a strap-on and selling me the lube.
Kind of Hoyo does, alright. It's kind of what Hoyo does.
Doesn't it? So, here's the problem with it being a gacha. It's that 2 out of these 4 strategies revolve around you gambling. Only 2 because you could still freeze the enemy with a free-to-play team. But for the other ones, if you need the characters that are very good at triggering the reactions with just their skills, you more than likely gotta gamble for them. Either for 5 stars like that or constellations on 4 stars to make them actually usable. Mainly that's just the case for the newer 4 stars. Or you can swipe on one of the 2 banners active during this Abyss and skip the enemy mechanic entirely. Now, not saying it's impossible if you don't do that, but you're going to have a considerably harder time if you don't. You know, the thing is, the boss was different to engage with, and in any other game it'd be
and as well, for me, you know, when you don't have like the premium units, right? I'm okay with things being harder, right? I just want it to be engaging harder. You know, not like banging my head against the wall kind of harder, and sometimes really relying on a bit of luck as well. Again, like for me, that's what like Star Rail drops into, as you say, bit of a shallow gameplay loop, a game of haves and have-nots, and without it's just like fucking unfun time. That's when I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of checking out now. I don't mind getting cock blocked and my cheeks spread a few times when I don't have a unit. It's just like, right, I gotta lock in now. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's stuff like that in Arknights, right? Where it's like, if I had this unit, I know I'd be able to steamroll this stage. But it's kind of fun not having it because it's not like, right, I've just got to bang my head against the wall now and just try, and hopefully I get lucky and I get through. It's like, I got to strategize. I got to think this out now. I got to plan something differently. I got to switch out some units, try some different stuff. And when you pull it off, it's like, oh my God, it's fucking good. You know what I mean?
To take in a different team comp for this challenge, but Genshin, with being a gacha game,
was this
Wuthering
Impact Genshin Waves?
You've also needed to engage with the gambling, so it's not like it's a
By
level
X
playing
actually
field
speak,
on a
it's
game
a
of
skill
what
check
you
for
can use,
the dodge
but ends up being a
reflex.
case of who you have.
Was it?
And
Is it a bit like Expedition 33 like that? Is it?
The entire Night Soul mechanic, which some bosses interact with a lot, but guess what? Only Natlin characters can do shit when it comes to the Night Soul mechanic.
Or if you just E2.
Any non-Natlin character can't do shit about that. Like this fucking boss.
The satisfaction of overcoming friction, yeah. The hyperglazing. I gotta get at least once a video, right?
Not by design, get by with jumping up certain spots for certain character models or using a Zhongli pillar. But why the fuck did they make this just a Natlin character thing instead of a mechanic of the game normally? Like, climbing's already in the game. You didn't have to make our characters' upper body strength the equivalent of the people who actually play the game to rip that shit away from us. But they did it that way because they want people to swipe. Granted,
I'll say, to be fair, I'm asthmatic and I've got more stamina than Genshin characters, though. You know, just saying.
They give you free options to help with it, but again, the problem comes back to it being a gacha. Yes, you could use the free options, but they'll be significantly worse than the paid ones. Though aside from that, Genshin has, in the past, in my opinion, felt like a game that valued vertical investment a lot. That's why constellations are so broken. They made it so that you'll be more likely to invest heavily into some characters you love over horizontal progression, because for years, only 2 teams was enough. But now there's a mechanic that you can't use your old vertically invested characters to beat, and instead, you're incentivized to roll for newer ones, which maybe wouldn't be too bad on its own, but the game gives you fuck nothing in terms of pulls, and Natlin has been horrifically bad with the pull economy compared to other patches. And then there's the theater mode which came out recently, and I'm gonna say something controversial. I actually really like playing it. I enjoyed it. It gave me
You're not allowed to say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. It's 2025, bro. You can't say you like Genshin Impact modes and events. That's not allowed. It's not allowed. The gacha police are going to get you now.
Jackass teams, and I had to think about what was optimal to use for them instead of these same sequence I've done thousands of times. But the problem of the theater mode is that you need a horizontally invested account to really engage with it. They give you trial units, but they're kind of dog shit, not gonna lie. On normal difficulty, not a problem. The second you go higher, you're going to want to start to gamble for units. And this problem ain't helped by the fact you could really only use characters of a specific element for that rotation. And yes, you do have friend units you could use, but that's only once per season, not run, season. So the game mode on paper is really fun to play, but in practice, a lot of the enjoyment of it comes from a gambling check because it's a gacha. If you don't have a wide array of invested units, you're kind of just fucked. If it was a regular game, this wouldn't be a problem. Now, this does sound like it's coming to the basic problem of you don't have all the characters in the game, therefore game bad. Which is why I want to clear this up. The problem isn't that you don't have all the characters. The problem is that the game is putting very arbitrary checks in gameplay that makes you want or need to gamble more. Like having Natlin mechanics old units just can't do.
Like,
having the
I'm not a fan of these stuff, right? I'm not. I don't like these stuff. Like, I get it, right? I said this before. It's like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of stat checks, whether it's mechanic checks or just stat checks, damage checks, right? But I get it. I understand why not so much these sort of things. Obviously, these are there to maximize profits, of course, right? I get that. I'm not stupid. But, like, I understand why stat checks and stuff are in games. But as long as you've got plenty of other stuff for me to do, and that's just one element of the game, and it's like, I can ignore that. I don't mind. I'm not one of these people in gacha games that I have to complete every part of the game for it to be a good game. I can happily have that part of the game. Okay, that's not for me. That's for the whales, right? Okay, I'll argue, sucks, right? But if that's how it is, as long as the rest of it's good and I can access it and I can enjoy it and I can clock stuff because I can get better at the game, or I can come up with some cool ideas, but I'm just not going to be able to do that because I haven't spent enough money. I'm not going to lie, I'm not too mad about it. I'm in the casino, right? I'm not going to be at the high roller table because I ain't got the big bucks and I don't get to sit up there with big bottles of champagne. I ain't going to walk into the casino and be like, bruh, what the fuck, man? This is pay to win, you know? Now, I'm not saying that's what he's saying. This is just a personal thing, right? I don't really mind too much, but at the same time, It sucks. It does. It sucks.
Mode only let you bring in certain elements aside from all the characters you got. These are tactics to make you pay for more characters. They are making a problem and selling you the solution. If those nightly mechanics could be done by any character, and if you could bring in your normal roster for the theater game mode, these things wouldn't inherently change. They'd remain the same, but Hoyo gets less money doing it that way. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying Genshin needs to become a paid-only game. God, no. The fact you get this much content in the game for the price of zero is objectively amazing. Being a gacha helps make that a reality. But this video is about shortcomings in gameplay of gacha games, and Genshin has a lot of shortcomings because of it being a gacha. Like tying new systems or cool shit to something only recent characters you have to swipe for can do. Like how nightly characters fix the exploration being asked by having their own vehicles they can summon that other characters can't. As it expands, Genshin is getting more interesting, albeit game modes, exploration enemies, and bosses, but to really engage with and have as much fun as you can with that, you need to swipe. Which does always exist in gachas. If you want to use the new fun characters, you gotta pay. But some of them help that by being very generous, and Genshin, God no, it doesn't even come close. The progression of the game and its systems leaves behind players that do not have the units to engage with it, so it ends up being hell for free-to-plays that don't play every day or returning players. It sucks. I think Genshin's becoming more interesting in play.
Man, I don't want the bootleg career, right? But like, I understand why companies do that. As a gamer, I don't like it. Right, it makes sense, right? You know, it's about the balance, right? It's about making it so enough free-to-play players can enjoy that the whales cover it, right? And Genshin's done a real good job at doing that over the years, hasn't it? I think it's just now it looks like, according to people who are still playing the game, I'm not, that it's starting to ramp up just a little bit now, because I think Genshin's been really quite good with those things over the years. I do. Things like Hypergryph, right? You know, the game's what? 5 years? Well, coming up to 6 years now, right? Is it coming up to 6 years now? Where are we at now with Genshin? What was it? Was it 2020 he dropped now? Was it 2019? 2020, Marty? You know? And I think it's done a decent job over the years, you know. A lot of other games, fucking hell, look at Star Rail. Look at the cliff that fell off in terms of creep in the game. It was way more drastic, right? I think Genshin did quite a good job for quite a long time. So like, I'm not even mad at it. Like, Genshin, I don't, like, again, I don't play the game anymore. I don't even get mad about Genshin having power creep personally, because I think you're 5 years in and the game's really starting to get power creep. Then I'm like, okay, I guess. Genshin's half a year younger than Ark Knights, I believe.
I thought it was lacking, like combat and your traversal through the world, but it being a gacha game and having these changes tied intimately to who you have on your account is holding it back. But
power creep only started kicking in during Fontaine.
Let's talk about a game that's done the opposite of that. Has had its characters go beyond the original scope of the game and make it lose part of its identity. Punishing Grey Raven. I'm not gonna lie, it actually kinda hurts to say this about the game because I still think it's really fucking good, but the game evolved into a weird way where the combat became flashier, but worse to me. When the game first dropped, the characters were more simple in their moveset. The hits weren't any grand spectacle, and you needed to be on point with dodging and parrying. You had stuff to build towards when it came to their core passive, and the characters felt a bit different in how they approached combat, but as time passed on in the game and the units progressed, it became iframe simulator. A lot of the new frames would have large swaths of times where they couldn't get hit. Like for example, Stigmata's hold left click after you pop her first ult. During all of this, she cannot be hit. Stuff like this, where I'm just attacking and not being able to get hit back,
Crimson Weave, absolutely adore. Kuro, please do a PGR crossover and make Crimson Weave playable. For the love of God, please.
Became the norm. There used to be a point where dodging and parrying were big focuses of the game, but as time passed, I just ended up going into a fight, following the rotation, and not really worrying about what the fuck the enemy was doing during that, because it's not like the jackass could hit me anyway. Some bosses circumvented this, like the parry ball, to where if you wanted to be optimal, you needed to, well, parry the ball, but a lot of the ones for Phantom Paid Cage I just never interacted with and spammed out my invulnerability moves because that's what was optimal. Like on paper, you can still hear why so many people love the game. The character kits are interesting, they feel fairly differently from each other, moves are flashy, bosses are cool, but it gets reduced a lot because I have the power of God protecting the anime waifu whenever she wants to be flashy and look at the camera. So I ended up not caring about what the enemy was doing and just did what guides said was the optimal way to play the character or team. Because even if the boss is popping the fuck off and throwing out some fucking attacks like Rodon, the fuck does it matter when that shit has the lethality of a gust of wind against my character that's spending half the fight invulnerable. So it got to
my roster on PGR is quite small anyway, really, and I only ever played up to chapter 10, I want to say. So I can't really comment on that specifically. I didn't have Stigmata either. Tried to get her, but I don't have her. PGR combat has become so bloated. PGR combat is such an uninteractive button mash. My problem is still on the PGR section is that he's seeking hard content in Phantom Pain Cage. The problem is PPC is very easy for semi-experienced players at least. It's so flashy, but there's a line no brain input aside from doing the optimal rotation. I remember Genshin players crying about how low rewards as long as it's been out. Could I need to make more characters like PGR and Wuthering? I would like to see, like, I'd love to see Bianca in Wuthering Waves. I definitely would like to see Crimson Weave in there, man. Holy shit. In Babel Tower, bosses ignore Matrix if you set the modifier. Overspeed, Trial of a Simulacrum, etc. Bosses in PPC are a dumbed down version of themselves, and most of them don't even have the mechanics that they have in their main story counterparts. Okay. I have come to loathe action games that puts a lot of focus on rotations. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've not gone that far, right? I've not gone that far, but I'm a little bit bored of it, right? I think, like, playing Genshin, coming into Wuthering Waves, playing Wuthering Waves pretty much every day for the better part of a year, right? Investing a lot of time into that game. I am not at the point where I'm loathing that, but I am kind of over it, right? Not forever, but it's not what I'm looking for in my next action gacha, you know? It's really, this poor screen is my experience in PGR. It's not what I'm looking for in my next experience. I'm hoping Azure Familiar does something a little bit different. This is why I do like the look of Neverness to Everness, minus, like, I've got a lot of issues where it needs to improve on, but that looks like that's what that's going to be all about as well, which, again, don't know if I'm necessarily looking for that. I'm a bit worried that Silver Palace is kind of going to be that as well, you know, where we're going to go down that route also. You know, he's talking about the abundance of iframes, dagging up the mechanics. Oh, okay, you talking to each other, yeah. Yeah. I don't mind, obviously, on-field and off-field characters buffing and complementing each other and stuff, but yeah, I want to get away from that, of, like, get onto my character, you know, my first starting character, drop a couple of skills, build up whatever, buff into the next character, do that same thing again, into my main damage dealer, rotate. I'm not saying there's not fun there, and don't get me wrong, Wuthering Waves has insanely good combat. I just want something a bit different, right? Because, again, I am in this boat now where this is why I really like what Endfield, and I'm not saying there isn't, like, obviously a rotation to your skills in Endfield and stuff, but this is why I'm really excited about Endfield, because it's doing something a little bit different, and I'm not, I don't dislike, I just don't want just every game to be that. I don't want every action gacha game to be like, okay, here you go, this is what we're doing now. We're rotating through your three optimal characters, and if you're not doing that, the game's going to punish you. And it's like, is that really skill, or is that just muscle memory, right? And obviously I know skill in a lot of, you know, FPS shooters, muscle memory is a big factor, right? Of course, but I don't want that. I want muscle memory to be a thing in, you know, my inputs and stuff, but I want to do, I think this is what, again, I think this is why I've been having so much fun on Arknights, man, you know, because it's just not that easy.
To the point where all I did in the fights was just what was optimal on paper. The only thought I really put into the boss was what element they were weak to. And I want to make one thing clear about my thoughts. Rotations inherently are not the problem. Having a set of things you do in combat to be optimal isn't a bad thing. It's just the absence of interacting with the game that gets boring. Like, for example, and this may be an extreme example, Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I know what you're going to say, a bit hard to compare the combat when in PGR you only use a couple of buttons for your inputs, and in Final Fantasy XIV you alternate between your entire fucking keyboard. Which is why I want to say, for the purposes of this example, throw the fucking keyboard out, right? Just imagine when it comes to this game, you're controlling your rotation using a fucking automaton. Just imagine the buttons you gotta press in the game are as boiled down to a simple 1, 2, 3. Even if that was done, the game wouldn't get boring because you still need to interact with the bosses. You still need to know what they're going to be doing in the fight. Even though what you're doing on your end is simple,
This is why I hope to God we really lean into boss mechanics in Endfield, because I think it will be a defining factor in boss combat of it being good and peak, right?
Attention to them is what shakes up the combat, especially considering how they all play differently. But if you get to ignore them and hit up a highlight reel on their dying body, it gets boring eventually. Yeah, I'm not saying the enemies in PGR have to be mechanically complicated. I'm just saying the game has progressed from a point to where it doesn't feel like the enemy you fight matters, while in the past, you had to generally think about actually interacting with them. And the big worry is that since the characters you roll for have so far been incredibly flashy and spam out iframes, if the new ones you roll for don't do that, then they will be seen as worse. If they try to reduce it with newer characters, people are going to be mad that the new ones they've released are worse than the older characters, which PGR is unique with, because yes, that does mean people are asking for power creep, but the player base is fond of power creep because you can get every character in the game for free, not even exaggerating. So hearing that is a little weird from the outside perspective, but it's the norm for PGR because new units have been consistently power creeping older ones. But each character going more over the top than the last brought us to the current point where bosses don't feel too interactive, which is where I gotta compliment Wuthering Waves, because as of now, I feel like the game doesn't have that. What you aim to do with your characters is like PGR, the kits are interesting and the characters play differently. There's more to combat than just pressing a few buttons and swapping out. But there also isn't the mass and vulnerability spam to you to where you can just ignore the enemy. You need to...
Is there though? I don't know if I agree with that. Like when you're fighting like holograms, right? Of course you have to be reactive to what's going on. You have to be restrictive and defensive and more conservative and stuff. But you kind of really just do that, if I'm honest. You know, you just optimal rotation, optimal rotation, optimal rotation. You know, especially if you're leaning into things like Tower of Adversity and stuff. Literally, that's all Tower is. It's adequately invested characters, you know, a good DPS, optimal rotations. You know, I know people will stand there and talk about like dungeon solos in this, that content and that content, but it's kind of really what the game is, right? You know, that's Christ, there's a reason they're patenting their fucking technology behind their quick swapping and concerto and intro and outros. Fundamentally what the game is.
Build what your character is looking to accomplish before you swap them out as you're dodging the enemy. And at the extreme, the hologram endgame mode has the enemies hitting you once and you fucking exploding. So you gotta pay attention, and as you're doing that...
That's where I will definitely talk about Wuthering Waves in regards to that's where it shines, is the holograms. But it feels like, and no, don't get me wrong, we've got more hologram content, but I think it should be front and center. Honestly, all the time. I want more, like, Depths of Elusive Realm to come back. I want that Trials Protocol, fucking whatever thing is called, Trials Crisis mode. But, like, for me, hologram, that's where Wuthering Waves shines, man. That at its core is when it's fucking peak, right? Because you are doing a little bit different. It's reactive to what's going on with the boss mechanics, rather than just be like, let's pile power in by optimal rotations.
You need to make sure you're following the optimal
doesn't mean it's bad either. You know what I mean?
Best you're dodging what the boss is throwing at you, and in the windows of vulnerability, it has you building whatever resource you need to do on that character. Like putting stacks of Frazzle on the boss with Phoebe. And you're not able to ignore the fight as you spend most of it unable to get hit. Now, that's not...
I'm going to be honest as well, man. I don't think neg status effects have really benefited Wuthering Waves. I don't think they've made the game... Well, actually, I don't know. In some ways, I'm not a big fan of them, right? I don't think Wuthering Waves has become a better game from them, if I'm honest.
Let's say the system is perfect. After all, some fights and combat events aren't really challenging, so it can make the combat feel very samey when you're not getting pushed. And the team building is pretty lackluster, but it does have the strength of making you, the player, interact with the gameplay. And if the gacha is known for their action, it does that the best. But those are some of the problems being a gacha causes the gameplay. Either the progression of the meta making old content feel boring,
I will say though, personally, I do think Wuthering Waves is the best action gacha game. But that being said, I've got to add the fact that if you said to me now you need to sit down today to play an action gacha game, I'm going to Zenless. I'm going to Zenless, right? Because I'm just finding Zenless more enjoyable at the moment, even in the combat. But I think it's fair that Wuthering Waves probably is the best action gacha game. At least I think that anyway. If somebody had to say to me now which is the best ones, I'd probably say Wuthering Waves. But if you said to me now what you're going to play, I'm gonna go play Zenless, if I'm honest. If I'm going into the gacha side of things, action side of things personally. But I still don't think it removes the fact that it is at its core optimal rotation, repeat, really. And again, that doesn't mean the game's bad, right? I'm just saying that, like, personally, I want to see... I just hope that Silver Palace isn't there. I hope that rewinding cadence isn't that. I hope Azure Familiar isn't that. It seems like Never Needs to Everness is that. I hope Ananta's not that. Because what we're doing then, we're just, again, we're back to like everything kind of being just a different shade of Genshin, really, right? With just an extra bit of nuance.
In game modes and enemies and validate auto units, or having the strength of your characters progress in a way to where the original feel for the game is lost. I think that's why people judge the gameplay for the models so harshly. Now, are these problems world-ending? Not really. The games are still fun to play. Genshin still brings in millions, PGR still fucking raw as hell, Arknights still keeps the game incredibly fresh even with power creep. FGO, you play it for the story. But more importantly, if you enjoy these games, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, fixing some of these problems is complicated. Like, if you wanted to preserve old content, then you need to restrict what players can bring into it, which would piss people off. And in the case of PGR, I don't even know how the fuck you would fix that. Only way is to just not get into that position at all. A big thing is that to fix some of these problems, it required the game to stop being a gacha, which would be...
Yeah, he's right. A lot of the problems in a lot of gacha games, right, would be fixed if the game wasn't a gacha game, if it was just like a box price game. But at the same time then, these games facilitate hours of free fun because of the gacha system. And the gacha system's designed in such a way that there's a big enough part of the audience that will throw cash at it that allows the other people who are willing to avoid certain pitfalls, potentially spend a bit of extra time, or maybe even just accept that, okay, it's not for me, I'll just carry on playing the rest of the game and have a lot of fun, right? Again, it's like, it's pros and cons, right? You know, it's a very predatory monetization system it's gambling, right? And it's fucked up a lot of people, and it makes parts of the game worse, but it also facilitates access for so many people to hundreds of hours worth of free gameplay, right?
Considerably worse, as that monetization model enables these games to have large number of players able to enjoy it for free. So in a sense, it's sorta a necessary evil. On one hand, are these criticisms correct? I'd say yeah. On the other, would the game be able to support this many free players with a different live service model? Probably not.
Probably
like,
not,
I'm willing to bet 70% or so of the people who are going to watch this video are either free to play or don't really spend much in these games.
Like,
and to fix,
I think the subscription, like, gacha games have kind of, like, shown that the subscription model's kind of dead, right? You know, now I know there's still games running on subscription services and doing fine, but they're very few and far between, right? Very few and far between. Most games, if they go free to play, rely on gacha now, or they rely on skins, right? And typically, gacha games crush skin-based games, don't they? You know, Battle Pass skins, Battle Pass gacha. The gachas just, we see the numbers, right? It's fucking way more profitable.
Some problems. Adopting a model of game that isolates 70% of people, like becoming subscription-based or expansion-based, is considerably fucking worse than dealing with the problems. So that's why I want to say some of them are avoidable, others were primarily done by greed, and some are inevitable. But it's part of the reason why gachas ain't known for their gameplay compared to other genres. Instead, they're known for the speedrun categories of how fast you can max out a credit card.
Right there. I do think that's going to change. I think perspective of gacha gameplay, I hope, is going to shift over the next coming years with all of the games that we've got. You know, things like Wuthering Waves, things like Familiar, things like Endfield. I've got to throw fucking Ark Knights in there. I've only just discovered it, and I think it's a fucking diamond in the rough, right? And all of these other games that are coming forward that are like, you know, the line between AAA and gacha is like blurred, right? I think that will probably change, but you're never going to get away from the fact that there's going to be the pitfalls of gacha that's just going to dictate how the game's designed, right? Some will do it better, some will do it worse. It's just about finding enjoyment where you can. And when a game starts to piss you off, just fucking go play someone else. And I think that's the best way to solve it, right? Personally, because it's a necessary evil, I think, of these games. Honestly, I do. Unless there's a new monetization system that comes forward and people support it, it's a necessary evil. We could say, well, nah, they can do skins, they can do this, they can do that. Why aren't all these other games succeeding hand over fist like gacha games are? Because people will just play the game free to play, right? They've got no need to buy the skin. Or if a character's really good, you know, they can get some extra currency from buying the battle pass. They'll do it, right? They'll do it. But yeah, I think that was a good video. There's parts where I definitely disagree with Sonalier, but I think overall what he's trying to get at, I think he's fundamentally correct. The gacha monetization factually affects the way the games are provided, right? And I think a lot of the times it's negative. I just think it facilitates hundreds of hours worth of free gameplay as well. So you gotta take your battles, pick your battles where you can, right? Right. New battle tower also incentivized style. You cannot progress without being a fucking Chad. Or even or even making sure that no units fall during combat with high attack ones, boss every 30 seconds. Bunch has more depth than you. Are you talking about ZZZ's combat there? Maybe if you get an endgame there isn't timed, but instead has a boss that deals damage and 3-star clear is being hit only one time, then maybe you can see variety. Yes. This is why, again, for me, man, fucking holograms are the best content in WoW. That Trials Crisis mode, where that was all about that, right? Now, I know there's timers in holograms, but it's really kind of inconsequential for the most part, right? I suppose it does limit variety to a point, because if you wanted to use, like, I guess a really underpowered character, you're going to get hit by the timer in the end. But, yeah, non-timered hologram type fights would be fucking cool. Negative status effects are just an excuse for them to sell new units. I agree. Pixie, did you do the late ones? You didn't come back for the last few yet. What's that, Zara? Sorry. Battle Tower enemies in Zenly's hit. Yeah, they do, man. They do. If you're not careful, you can get fucking slapped. As easy as he has hotter animations, I have my priorities. Hey, based. Did I see your previous comment? I don't think I did. No. No, I don't. No. No, I don't see it, dude. Sorry. NT's doing some pretty weird things. Time stop girl can stop times in challenge modes and other. Oh, really? That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I quite like that. Enfield should choose to not follow Gacha endgame and beating the boss or stage in a limited amount of time. Agree. Lean into mechanics. Lean into like MMO mechanics hard, because the game's already got a little bit of element of that anyway, right? Just lean into that, man. Make me fucking have to deal with stages to the boss where like it's just like, right, I just got fucked in my ass. Now I have to go back with the stuff I've learned rather than like time. Of course there's going to be timed content, but as long as it's not the mainstay, right? I accept that pretty much every gacha game, for the most part, is probably going to have some kind of timed content, whether it's literally a mechanic of a boss wiping you out or a literal timer. It's just that I don't want that to be the majority of the content, because then all that you do is the difficulty, is the timer, right? It's not the content. It's just, it becomes the optimal get out as much DPS as possible to beat the timer. That's not fun, because it really removes any smart design of enemies then, because all you have to do is make enemies hit really hard and have a lot of HP, and then that's it. They don't have to be difficult to fight, right? So yeah. I don't have a problem with someone criticizing PGR. I agree with some of the stuff. What I have a problem with is the praise we were despite. Yeah, I think that, yeah. I that's what I said as soon as he said that about Wuthering Waves. I'm like, it's kind of the same thing, man. It's just rotation, pop off, rotation, pop off. It's pretty much, it's Genshin, really, but just in a bit of a different way, like with a few extra steps, and a bit more mobility in the fight. Honestly, it is right. Like, am I tripping? Wuthering Waves combat is, in its essence, similar to what you do in Genshin, with just a few more steps. And honestly, it looks better, and it fucking feels better, right? And I'm not, and me saying this, I know people get it misconstrued. It doesn't mean that's bad. I think Wuthering Waves has the best action combat in the space. Man, it rivals a lot of games outside of Gacha in terms of action combat, right? But it's just when you break it down and you've been playing it for a while, it's like, okay, hopefully things change. I do think that's what negative status effects were designed to do, was to try and maybe break that up, but I don't think they've quite done what they were designed to do, in my opinion, because I just think they've been implemented quite poorly. I think it's a good idea that just didn't hit as well as I was hoping it would, We hate we were here in the Pixel Tree X we were community. I uploaded some stuff from React Smash. Oh, okay, I'll have a look. I'll have a look if I can. We love avoiding circles. Imagine 5-phase boss fights. Yeah, you know, I love a good boss fight that has a phase. You know, when you're like, yes, and then you're like, oh fuck, dude's back. Make a boss with 50 different mechanics. Extra turn boss, 5 phases, ready for ultimates in EF. Oh, you don't say anymore because you might spoil the X2 boss. I want to go in blind, same with my background music. Okay. Alright, so we did have this. I tried the new revamped Blue Protocol first impression style resonance. I kind of wanted to have a look at what's this that you've shared in Le Discord. Le Discord, what we're looking at here, React Smasho. React Smasho. We've got a lot of Haunts Girl in there. What are we looking at here? Upcoming skins. Okay. Arknights Investigated Terror. What's that? Happy English Release Day. Censorship has to stop. Say boom one more time. Was this a new one from Tarboro? How long is this video?
Here recently, I mean,
should we check this out? Let's see what this is. He's got to say then. We did just speak about this, right? But I'm curious to see what some of maybe the specifics are here, right? We've obviously spoke about the payment processors bending the knee in regards to some of the less savoury works on Steam, and I think on itch.io, I think as well. Which I don't like, right? They're not my kind of games personally, but as long as something isn't illegal, I don't like the monopoly of bottlenecks in regards to things like payment processors. You know, go to things like America with the internet service providers controlling the market and dictating what we as consumers can spend our money on. I'm not a fan of it because it might just be silly little not safe for work games now. Who's to say that it doesn't, hey, stretch to the games that we like, gacha games. You know, we've already seen it in certain countries and being banned. You cannot argue the morality over those sort of things, but I'm just specifically talking about, less about democratically elected individuals here and more just corporate entities saying, you know what, actually, we're going to bend to some criticism here and we're going to stop you accessing all this stuff. And you can't do fuck all about it because there's no other options. This is why we need regulation. This is why we need other options. And this is why we need to, like, you know, we do need to kind of fight against this sort of stuff. Not specifically for those games themselves because I couldn't give a fuck about them, but just for games in general because I think it's slippery slope if I'm honest. But let's get into this video then. See what he's got to say then, shall we?
I made a video talking about how Japan
Brain
is
going to be the first
regarding
target.
their monopoly practices. In that video, I did highlight the whole situation that was going on with Steam currently. They updated their policy to essentially allow payment processors to decide what can and cannot be on the platform. And at the time, I made a little side remark that I wasn't making a video on it.
Which sucks, right? You think about that. You see, this is why I say, you know, sometimes when there's slight changes to things, and you're like, that's not a big deal. People are getting wild thinking that's going to change. But that's allowed other people now to make these moves. And again, it is. It's not Steam themselves saying this goes against our platform. It's somebody outside the platform going, you know what? We're just going to stop you using our system to pay for this thing. It doesn't affect us really, but we don't like it, so we're just going to say no. And you can't do a thing about it because you can't go anywhere else, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not into incest games, right? But as far as I'm aware, games around incest are not illegal, right? Now, I'm not here to defend incest games. I'm here to defend the idea, right? The idea itself, because I didn't even know there was incest games on Steam, if I'm honest. I didn't even know.
It's not really affecting visual novels or anime specifically. And yes, as I was editing it, I felt that was a really bad remark. Because it almost sounds as if I'm saying, because it's not affecting me yet,
yeah. I'm all right, Jack. You know, as a saying in the UK, I'm all right, Jack. Doesn't affect me. I don't care. And then the next thing you know, it affects you because you were like, whatever, you were blasé about it. And it is how it goes, right?
I'm not going to make a video on it. But I really do think that short-sighted.
What you spend your money on is your own business. Exactly. As long as it's legal, right?
But a matter of when. And I do think that a lot of what's happening right now with Steam will eventually affect us. And I think, yes, based on what they're currently targeting, it will eventually affect us. I mean, one of the things they stated with this whole situation is specifically things that were about incest. And yeah, I can point out one particular game on Steam right now that could
pull the ladder up. I'm all right, right?
Whole situation, something that has that in it, that is anime related. Nekopara is kind of fitting the bill. There's a lot of games that will end up having that included in it. It's an entire genre.
Exactly. Who's to say we don't get to the point where it's like, you know, because we know how culture wars go in the West, right? Christ, we saw what happened with ZZZ the other day, right? You know? And she's actually had to respond and say, yo, I didn't even know that's what that flag was, because she doesn't get involved in that. Who's to say that they don't push for things like that and use payment processors? That, you know, like we've had all the arguments. Remember when fucking Stellar Blade came out, right? Of all the arguments of over-sexualized characters being too sexy, too voluptuous. Who's to say that we don't get to that point where the payment processors are like, you know what, actually, that game is a little bit too sexy for our taste. That character doesn't look like the average woman. We're going to stop that. Now, that might seem extreme, but the option's there, right? The option's there for them to potentially do that.
Of anime and visual novels is specifically that content. So it's
apparently all they do is release a non-safe version and release a free patch elsewhere to re-add it. Okay. Of course, there's going to be workarounds as well. You would imagine, right? There's definitely going to be workarounds.
A matter of if, it's a matter of when. But again, my comment then was more of an aspect of, because it hasn't affected yet, I'm not going to make content on it. So I do feel like right now I want to make that content. Specifically, I want to get into what's going on, and additionally sort of what my thoughts are that we can do going forward. Because ultimately, in the end, I think this is needing action. We need to stop kind of sitting on the sidelines and waiting for it to impact us, or just sitting on the sidelines saying, oh no, this is happening. And I will put my actions where my words are. I have already contacted my representative because I think this...
You know, like, the thing that frustrates me, I know Steam acted upon it, right? And this is more on Steam. But, like, these payment processors don't care enough in those regards, because it wasn't too long ago. There was a game on Steam, right, that literally had malware in it, right? You know? And that was on Steam for like a week before it got taken down. And now that is on Steam on quality control, right? But, like, do you know what I'm saying? They don't really care about you. This is just their political sensibility, or potentially enough people have made them bend the knee. Because apparently I've heard that it's like, apparently it's a lot of, it's coming from Australia, this started, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It needs to start happening. People need to start speaking up, and it's been taking way too long for us to do that. No change.org things. We're talking about contacting representative directly and tell them, put a stop to this. But essentially, for those who don't know what's going on, you had this whole situation with Steam where a lot of games were removed, and they updated their policy saying that, yes, payment processors, it needs to meet their standards. So if a payment processor has sort of standards against something that's on here, we will have to remove it. And there's a side of me that is upset that Steam is bending the knee to this, but there's also a side of me that I want to give them credit. I almost feel like this is almost a big brain move of them saying, okay, we'll take it off the store, and they update the policy to basically say, who exactly is at fault? Right. What Steam's doing right here,
I feel like they did it.
I want to cope here. I feel like Steam right here is saying, sure, we'll take it down, because they can't fight the payment processors. If they take it down, they're going to lose a lot of money, and they're going to shut down. I know a lot of people think that going with Bitcoin or something like that's going to fix it. I don't think so. I think they're going to lose way too much.
Man, if that happened, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not an anti-crypto Andy, right? You know? Let's face it, man. There's still a way to go on the front ends of a lot of crypto places to make people feel comfortable with fucking pain, right? And even then, there'll be people who'll never be comfortable with it, right? That would destroy Steam if these guys blocked the store as a whole. It would destroy them. They would have to bend the knee. This is why they've done that, right? They've been pushed into, well, shit, man, we might get completely cut off here. We've got to. We've just got to. Again, this is where I say, for me, it's not so much the problem with the payment processors doing it, it's the monopoly, right? I don't care how a public business runs themselves. If they go, you know what? We don't want you to put money through us and by proxy us facilitate the purchase of this thing that we vehemently disagree with. All right, cool. Let me go elsewhere. Oh, shit, right? There's no elsewhere. So until that happens, I don't think they should be allowed to do this. This is why regulation's important.
Money, and they'll end up having to downsize and shut down eventually. I think this was them telling the audience, this is who's at fault. Go. We can't change things by ourselves. Go and take them down. I think that's sort of the same thing that happened here recently with the next person that was under fire, which of course is itch.io. Itch.io I'm not completely familiar with, so hopefully I don't get this wrong, but essentially it's an independent platform where you can upload your games to, and you can make money off them. So indie developers
watch Jim Sterling do videos on it.
And yes, there's a lot of not safe for work stuff on there. Specifically, what they said on their website is we have de-indexed all adult not safe for work content from our
like a lot of browser games on
pages.
there.
We understand this action is sudden and disruptive, and
there isn't going to be an elsewhere
for the frustration and confusion caused by this change. Recently, we became under scrutiny from our payment processors regarding the nature of some of the content hosted on itch.io due to a game titled No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned back in April. The organization Collective Shout launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io.
You know, because it kind of is like akin to like how he was talking about earlier, that bloke trying to take 15 grand out his bank or however much it was out his bank to buy his son a motorbike, and the bank were like, yeah, nah, we don't think that's a good reason to take your money out. It's your money, but yeah, nah, we're not gonna let you buy that bike. I know you've worked hard for it, and we're just looking after it, right? That's how we make our money, but nah, we're not gonna let you do that.
Concerns to our payment processors about nature of certain content found on both platforms, which yes, we can see on Collective Shout's website right here. They specifically targeted all these payment processors and said, hey, you're using your stuff to essentially buy stuff that is on these platforms, itch.io and Steam specifically. Now, I don't want people to get caught up on this page. Please do not get caught up on Collective Shout, because I think that's a false direction to go there. What Collective Shout is, it's a group that is campaigning a...
Facts, Apollo. Roblox is more dangerous than the games that they're worried about. It's full of predators. For real. My niece uses Roblox. I'm always telling her all the time, man, be careful who you speak to on that, because it's full of nonsense.
Against games and whatnot, and they know how to stop these games. They go directly to the payment processors. But again, they're
I don't say it in those words,
that's utilizing
it's my niece, but
What you need to focus on here is that they're going to the payment processors, and the payment processor doing their bidding. So even if you go after this group and you take them down, it will not stop what's currently happening. Another group will rise up, they will go to the payment processors, and more games will get shut down. So don't get caught up on Collective Shout. The key focus, I think, what a lot of people need to focus on is payment processors. Again, with Steam, what does Steam say? Payment processors. They didn't say Collective Shout. They said payment processors are shutting them down. And essentially right here is the same thing. Collective Shout can't stop these guys from selling the games. Payment processors can. That's why Collective Shout goes to them. Our ability to process payments is critical for every creator on our platform. To ensure that we can continue to operate and provide a marketplace for all developers, we must prioritize our relationship with our payment partners and take immediate steps towards compliance. Now, yes, I know there's a lot of controversy regarding how they handled this, and I'm not going to get in that stuff. Some people say their games got completely removed from their entire history. They can't even download the games they bought. Some people saying, yes, they can download their games. What I want to focus in on is the payment processing issue here, which, again, has been affecting Japan for the longest time, enough that Taro Yama...
You can actually count good Roblox games on one hand. There's that Pokemon game, yeah, and was it Phantom Forces? Like... I don't know how that Pokemon game got away with it, man, because it literally was just Pokemon. That was insane, that was. It was literally just Pokemon.
And a lot of political leaders had to literally come together to discover how they can possibly fight against this. Because, again, it's
was it
obvious
Phantom Forces, the one that was like
really anybody
Battlefields?
That payment processors are pretty much unelected officials. They are
Kind of
people
like
that we do not elect that are making choices on our behalf. They are choosing what we can and cannot do. The payment processors for the longest time have been dictating in Japan what is legal and not legal, despite what they claim is legal and not legal. And now they're doing it for us. And again, because of what is being targeted here...
This is why regulation needs to come in, you know what I mean? Because, like, these guys are dictating, like, again, they're being the morality police. And in a sense, legality police, when there's not even laws being broken, they shouldn't be able to do this, right? You might say, good, I don't want these games on my platform, but they just shouldn't be able to, they shouldn't be able to control what's happening on platforms that have a terms of service, that are not breaking any laws, that are providing a service which people want to pay for, right? They just shouldn't be involved in it. They should be there to block the facilitation of money laundering and theft. They're not fucking very good at that, right? Because it happens all the time. But, oh yeah, nah, man. Titty game? Nah, we don't want you to be able to buy that.
It's only a matter of time before it's not just lewd games that nobody wants to play, and it's like, why would you even want to defend this to begin with? It's going to go further than that to other things. I have heard that Collective Shout specifically is going after games that aren't even this stuff. It's just stuff that includes violence and whatnot to children. They're going after storytelling that is a broad spectrum that is not even including just related to not safe for work. They're going after just things that have questionable content or just stuff that's just too shocking for them. And that's where, again, we get into the realm of something that I want to fight back against. Again, it's not whether you like Necopata or not. It's more of a fact of, is it legal? Is it legal or not legal? Should these payment processors dictate what we can and cannot consume?
Right.
And where do you draw the line? Is this like every single time that...
It goes back to the same look again about GTA. Oh, it's creating murderers and stuff. Right? If we'd let those people win, GTA 6 would never happen. Fuck, man, GTA 6 might never happen. But you know what I mean? We wouldn't have had GTA 5. We wouldn't have had GTA 4. Hell, we wouldn't have had fucking San Andreas. Right? These people who, like, see something they don't like and they don't want you to like it either. Fuck those people. Right? Again, at the end of the day, as long as it's legal and it's not some fucked up shit, let people buy what they want. They work hard for the money. Let them spend their money on what they want. And monopolies, this is why monopolies always suck, right? That's the problem. End of the day, again, for me, it's not even about the payment processor themselves saying, we don't want you to buy that. They're a private company. If they don't want to if they want to say, look, we don't want you buying this. We don't want you buying apples. We're not going to let you buy apples because they've got an apple phobia. Ridiculous analogy, right? Okay. Let me go use this other vendor then. The problem is there's no other vendors, right? That's the problem. Again, I'm the type of person where a private business can kind of do what they want as long as they don't break the laws. You know, it's like when you get to a club, name's not down, you're not coming in, we can refuse your service for whatever reason. All right, cool, I can just go to another place. If you're the only restaurant, then it's a problem, right?
I talk about censorship in Japan from payment processors. It's not a matter of me wanting to consume a lot of this stuff, which, yes, a lot of it includes drawn depictions of young-looking characters in really bad situations. It's more of a factor of where do you draw the line. And we might possibly, and I am saying this specifically, possibly have a current bill that could help us with the situation. Okay. Now, I want to emphasize once again, like I always do, that always do your own research. I had a lot of people contact me about SB 20 when I was really trying to fight against that, and they were saying, well, you're not looking at the obscenity law, you're not looking at this, it's not the way that you're thinking it's read. I always tell people, look into the stuff yourself, read it, figure out if it's something that works for you or not, and go to your representatives yourself. I'm guessing a lot of people that were against that particular video don't understand how the United States works. This is a country of the people, for the people. And the people are allowed to look at our laws, scrutinize it, tell if it's something they want or not, and then contact our representatives. If we misinterpret the law...
And then, to be fair, your representatives can ignore you, you know? We like to think that in the UK as well, you know. Hey, look, man, the people are in charge, they work for us. Yeah, right.
It's our own damn fault. I am completely against the idea that because you're not a lawyer, you're not allowed to look at the law and decide if it's something you want or not. Yes, I read the obscenity laws in SB 20. And I didn't like how broad it was, even after reading it. I am not a lawyer, but I'm allowed to look at this stuff as a U.S. citizen. So please don't come at me with that stuff again. With that said, currently a lot of people are pointing at the Fair Access Banking Act. Not just the Fair Access Banking Act, there's another one called the Firm Act, but they're basically two different acts that are currently being put through. They were actually presented way back in February. What I gather from research is that both of these were put into effect essentially as an answer for a lot of these companies that were being essentially shut down by payment processors because they weren't following certain political views. I think one of them was a firearms group. Specifically with the Fair Access Banking Act, again, it's two different bills.
As I say,
you have
we've got precedent for these companies doing this stuff. Who's to say it doesn't go, like, again, I don't care about these games. I don't care about them, right? If they disappeared, I'm not affected, but the other people are. But then it's like where it goes from there, right? It's where it goes from there. Again, as you said, we've seen this. There's precedent being set for banks, payment processors, vendors doing this stuff in attempting to block people getting access to certain things, to stop the operation of businesses because they don't align with the right things, right? You know, we ain't going to go back to all the Rona stuff. We saw a lot of how the system's willing to fuck people over back then to get people to fall in line, right? You know, there's definitely precedent for things to potentially be done to us if we refuse to bend the knee. And again, this all comes down to, obviously, regulations and stuff can help. Man, we need somewhere, it's probably never going to happen. There needs to be competition, right?
Are
there drastically, desperately needs to be competition.
119th Congress. And then you have S401, which is the 119th Congress. To give people an explanation here, every single Congress has a number. So this is the 119th Congress. And then there will be a bill for that specific one. So you can't just search S401. You have to specifically search for the 119th Congress version of it. That was similar with the SB 20 bill. I just forgot to mention that before. One of the main things this act is kind of pointing out is that, yes, a lot of groups are going to financial institutions and telling financial institutions to essentially cut off businesses and whatnot. And they're obviously seeing that this is going to become a bad thing. We need to stop this because it's been used in politics here recently. A lot of cases where companies are being shut down because everybody's sort of pressuring the payment processors to kind of bend to their side. When we go down to the actual...
Which, like, again, it's wrong, right? The best way that if it's true that this small group of people believes that this is a bad business, people stop using the business, right? And it just goes out to business anyway. You know, to go that route, you know that, like, there's still plenty of customers wanting to use that business, wanting to spend it. Again, they're not doing anything illegal, they're not doing anything nefarious. Then just shut the fuck up.
Purposes of this act, it says to ensure fair access to financial services and fair treatment of customers by financial service providers, including national and state banks, federal savings associations, and states and federal credit unions. Ensure financial institutions
not the case of
conduct
Epstein,
themselves in a safe
true,
and sound
actually, yeah.
manner, comply with laws and regulations, treat their customers fairly, and provide fair access to financial services. Here's the key thing here. You are going to still follow the law, but you're still going to provide financial stuff. Protect against financial institutions being able to impede otherwise lawful commerce and thereby achieve certain public policy goals. Again, not impeding people if they're doing lawful things. Ensure that persons involved with politically unpopular businesses, but that are lawful under federal law, receive fair access to financial services under the law. And ensure financial institutions operate in a safe and sound manner by making...
Actually, yeah, you're right. What the hell? Why can't you? I can't see Apollo's messages. Oh, you're on top chat, that's why. You're on top chat. It's probably because you put the word Epstein. Man, top chat is so soft on YouTube. Switch to live chat. Dagger, switch to live chat. It's top chat, man. It sucks.
Making judgments and decisions about whether to provide customers with financial services on an impartial, individualized, risk-based analysis using empirical data evaluated under quantifiable standards. So again, it's not going based on your political beliefs, it's not going based on all your decisions and whatnot, it's going specifically based on...
And bro's getting cooked.
on finances. Now, the only thing that I really do find that's sort of a hole in this whole situation is that there's still a risk-based analysis, which, yes, in the past, Visa has claimed that they want to stop certain companies in Japan because it risks their brand. Here's where we get the actual requirements. In general, to provide fair access financial...
The thing is, when they say that, like, it risks their brand. Like, what the fuck do they mean by that? Like, how? Like, when people buy anything, they're never really thinking about the payment processor, are they? Right? You know, and because they've got a monopoly, what risk is that? Like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Services, a covered bank, including subsidiary of a covered bank, except as necessary to comply with another provision of law, shall make each financial service it offers available to all persons in the geographic market served by the covered bank on proportionally equal terms, may not deny any person a financial service the covered bank offers unless the denial is justified by quantified and documented failure of the person to meet quantitative, impartial risk-based standards established in advance by the covered bank, may not deny in coordination...
Okay, we're pretty much just going over this amendment, this act, right? Which, again, it looks like it's potential to basically protect businesses from being denied operation operational services through payment processes because they don't like something, right? As long as it's above board, it's legal, there's nothing dodgy going on, then they shouldn't be able to do it. Hopefully, this is something that gets through. We're just pretty much going over all of this now, right? Yeah, but again, I don't like this. I can't give a shit about these games. I don't play these games, right? I just don't. That's not the point. That is not the point. The problem is, this is monopolies controlling what we can spend our money on. When it's legal, right? You can think what you like about a lot of things what people do with their money, but as long as it's legal, these payment processors should never be able to stop you doing that. Shouldn't be able to shut businesses down. Shouldn't have this sort of fascistic control over what we do with our money, right? They just shouldn't. It's not good. We need it to stop. And hopefully something like this can go down in America. I don't know if there's anything happening like this in the EU. Probably not. But it'd be interesting to see because again, monopolies suck. They never serve the consumer. They just don't, do they? They never do. It's all good when you see companies getting bought out, like, you know, when we see in the gaming space, like, oh man, look at all this investment. Eventually, though, it leads to one king sitting at the top ruling over everything, and then you get fucked if you don't like it. You've got no other options. So yeah, this is not good. This is not great. Hopefully there's enough pressure the other way now, and they fall back on this, right? And hopefully some regulations can get introduced, because this is what this needs. It needs regulation. We can't just rest on the idea of like, oh, if we stir up enough fuss, they'll just stop. They'll do it again, right? We need regulation so they don't have the ability to do so, and they have to work within a framework that forces them to for themselves to comply to, right? And they can't force companies to bend the knee just because they don't like the idea of something, because when does it stop, right? When does it stop? When do we get to, oh, there's blood in your game? Yeah, we don't want that. Oh, there's violence in the game? Yeah, we don't want that. Oh, there's political conversations going on in the game? Yeah, we don't want that, right? This can affect every political persuasion and everybody from every group of every area. It can be used for attacking minorities, going after sexual persuasions, again, sexualized stuff. This can be used against anything and everything, and this is just the first domino, and it definitely should be something that we want to stop. Definitely should be something that we want to stop. Sucks to see. Hopefully, it goes the right way. But guys, we've waffled enough today, man. I think we're gonna play some Arknights, man. We're gonna play some Arknights. Let's do it. Get in the fucking game. Let's get in the game, boys. Let's get in the game. Steam is the only monopoly I support. The other competitors suck. True. The thing is, though, there is other storefronts, right? It's just Steam's just way better, right? It's just way better. The last time I was in Germany and saw a man standing above everybody else, we ended up disagreeing. Live chat lets you swear more. True. Yeah, if you want a freedom of throwing around some swear words, live chat is the way. Yeah, it's not good, is it, man? It's not good, right? It doesn't matter what you think about the games that are getting taken down, right? We never want this, right? You might even be like, you know what? I want those games taken down. All right, fair. And I don't even judge you for that. I do judge you for the idea. Well, it's not that I judge you. I think you're misguided in thinking that's the way to solve it, right? The way you solve it is that maybe culture shifts in a way that people just don't get any. But at the end of the day, people are, as long as they're not breaking the law, man, they can do what the fuck they want. Can I say a slur on live chat? No, it depends what the slur is. I'm not gonna okay any slurs, right? I'm not gonna, because as long as it's an in-game Arknights slur, then have at it, right? If it's an Arknights one. Yeah, we'll probably get into it in the next stream, Mr. Comments. I do want to get into some of the game, man. We've been slacking today. My throat's starting to get a bit sore now. I've been yapping too much, I've been yapping too much, man. My throat felt better today, but it's starting to get rough again, man. I definitely have got like laryngitis brought on by a strain, man. It's too much yapping. It's too much yapping, man.
My team and I will do our best to serve Rhodes Island.
Clanker. That's the new official slur, yeah, for AI and robotics. Oh, wait. I've had so many DP recoveries recently. Yeah, cap sanity, man. Cap sanity. I ain't been on the game for the last couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Ooh. Are there any good tags there to go with shift? Picture a muppet. How's that for a slur? Sorry, Picture, you've been diagnosed with E2 yapping syndrome. That's right. I'm going to get to the doctor's man. He's going to say, you know what, if you E2 to units, you wouldn't have this problem, you fucking mug. Just shit. Alright, we'll just slam it on shift then, yeah. Gift and debuff, guaranteed 4-star. Let's stick it on debuff as well then, I guess.
Lancer Fang, captain of reserve op team A.
Not even a blue? Not even a blue? Ah.
Hi, I'm Spot from Operation Reserve Team A6.
Sure, I'm rolled for shift, yeah? Oh shit, I've got no recruitments. No recruitments. I'm broke.
Show me your brightest.
If you're
smile,
broke, mate,
my
just say
student.
so. Alright, what's this? Shoe free pull. What's in the bag? Shit. Shit's in the bag.
From Operation Reserve Team A6.
Yeah, we got a top OG.
Reuinion.
Yeah, I've got a top tag, yeah.
I'm so
I've had a top operator tag and a senior. I've had a senior twice. I think I've had senior twice and a top once. Running recruitment is almost impossible for you. Humble flex, yeah, humble flex. Huh? Alright, let's have a look at this event. The Clan Cat, yeah, Star Wars, yeah. So 2 seconds, Ross has messaged me. Right. Might as well put 30 pull in there. 36 pulls away to spark Neon. 100 more and you'll get the shoe. How many pulls have I got, actually? I don't have 36 pulls, do I? No. I'm broke as fuck. You know what, like what? I'm gonna do 20. Then 20. Bought Neon on last day. Okay, alright. Use token. Okie dokie. Is she any good? Immediately performs a heal to all targets within range equal to 330% of vision used attack. Attack speed plus 50 heals one additional target and the target's vision used talent recover HP equal to 20% of vision used attack. Grants 10% sanctuary. Reduces incoming physical and arts damage by a corresponding amount. Only the strongest effects of this type. Deals arts damage when skill is active. Attacks instead of restores HP of allies. Heal amount is equal to 75% of attack. Okay. She's okay. Sounds alright. Nothing like groundbreaking looking at it, kid, but like, she's okay, yeah? We're skipping story, yeah. We're skipping story. People have said to skip anyway, but even if we wasn't, we was going to read, I'd probably skip because of my throat the way it is at the minute. What's the mechanic then? Oh yeah, I remember. It's the stoves, yeah. Summons Sapid Auspice to deal true damage to all enemies in its path. Derelict Stove summons Vapid Blight to deal true damage to all allied units in its path. They can change Sapidity to Vapidity, yeah. We're in players who don't read story. Use long-range weapons to attack Sapidity. Yeah, so these guys are going to want to change my Sapidities to Vapidities, yeah. Sapidity to Vapidity. Can we change Vapidities back to Sapidities? Hey, Dust, come lend a hand. Those things are on the loose here. Hey, what a pain. Hey, yeah.
When 'tis a choice of life and death, why shouldst thou lay down thy arms?
Charlie's Angels. Spawns 1 Sapidity when defeated. Okay. Chain the stupidity. A new fella itching for a beating, huh?
Not one step backward.
Now he goes to the oven, yeah. I think I did leave the stupidity behind. Smells tasty. Looks like he's drawn to the stove and will be absorbed right when he gets closer and all. What happens now when this is... Do we start doing true damage?
Bring the intangible to life. You dare strike my shield with your spear? That's gonna end.
I don't know what that attack does. Defense 55, attack 30, and normal attack deal arts damage.
Not one step backward.
I forgot what happens. Does the dong, the long come out of you?
I am rather attached to you most of the time.
Okay, what's going to come out now? The Dwagon. At this rate, we'll get to turn the stove on soon and see some Sapid Auspice in action. Okay, they're going to attack that now. Is he going to turn into a Vapidity? Dong! If you'll just sit and watch like you did, Dad, turn the Sapidity into Vapidity and the meal will be bland. I don't think the derelict stove could draw those Vapidity things to. Just whack them a bunch of times and they'll turn back. Oh, okay.
Copy the infinite with the tangible. Bring the intangible to life.
And can they get turned back again, though?
Copy the infinite with the even a virtuous king must from time
Will they
to
attack it
time
again?
look to the sword.
Yo, what are we playing here? We're playing ping pong with them. Yeah, right. If you can whack all of them in time, the derelict stove is about to unleash a Vapid Blight.
Not one step backward.
Summons Vapid Blight to deal true damage to all allied units in his path. Oh, shit. Bro just gigafucked me? That thing reeks of bad luck. Well, since we won't get hurt for real. Anyway, handle this yourself. She's so petty. Fine, just watch me. Who's this?
It's time.
Oh, it's lava?
Do you have need of me?
Santella.
No time to hesitate. Too weak. There's
Wildwind plunders your world.
Okay, they're gonna get through now, yeah. So we'll do... What does he do? Does he do true damage? Yeah, true damage. And what, I could just pop that, yeah. No, that'll do. Let's cook. All right, let's cook. Yeah, get fucked. And you. And you, buddy. There you go. Okay. I kind of like the mechanic, actually. I kind of like the mechanic. I'll be impressed if you found the tutorial. Okay. All right. Interesting. Seems like it's potentially a lot to think about, maybe at certain points, right? Especially with some of the other enemies that we saw, like that big fucking Giga Boss that's got the shield and everything, like. Okay. All right, let's give it a whirl. Let's give it a whirl then. I guess we'll just use this squad and we'll adjust as we go. Probably don't need all these defenders, but we'll see. We'll see. Order 1, scallion tofu.
Just wait for us to get back, Doctor. I'm here to help.
Okie dokie. Alright, use long range weapons to attack stupidity. Alright. Let's fuck this dude up then, yeah.
I'm listening. Take aim.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting mechanic. At face value, it seems, anyway.
Today, little apple.
And what's the deal going over here, man? What's the crack? What's the crack? Are these guys just going to be coming out here and going around this way? I think that's a good place to pop her, actually. I was thinking about popping her there. You know, we can hit both sides then, yeah. I don't really need to worry too much for this stage. It's the first stage, yeah. Yeah, actually, let's do that then. Let's actually... I feel like we're wasting a lot of tiles, alright. I feel like we're wasting a lot of tiles, but fuck it, let's do it.
Your weapons are right at your fingertips. Why wait?
Here I am.
No one knows my name.
No one knows my name.
I'm listening. No one knows. Follow me into the shadows.
Do not disappoint tonight.
I have to get serious now.
Don't keep me waiting. Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
Hit with the big boys.
Searching for enemies.
You'll get what you deserve.
I haven't used you, actually, so I don't even know.
Serious now.
Unleash the long. Unleash the long. Okay, that's kind of sick. That's kind of sick, actually. I quite like that. That's quite cool.
Limit the enemy's choices, forcing them into unwitting traps.
Blaze Ultra's not in the team. Oh, shit. Fuck. I forgot about Blaze. Not gonna lie. I forgot about Blaze. Not gonna lie.
You
True,
really
fake,
don't
simp,
remember
LARPing,
anything?
grifter, grifting bastard. So I am.
Sooner or
No
later,
account
you'll
progression
have
and
to
no
face
Blaze Ultra in the
yourself.
team.
So think
Fucking
carefully.
dirty bastard.
Bear in mind, this time, I'm ready
should
to
maybe drop-
correct your mistakes.
Let's maybe drop Cora. I haven't leveled her up though at all, have I? Have I? What is she now? What is she? Where is she coming now? What is she coming under? Caster? She a caster? Yeah, she's a caster.
Understood. I'll focus on support. Doctor, you know I've poured over
Shit.
the records, studying them
Shit.
so you don't have to
Can I
drag
build
me to
any?
a watch session, you know?
Oh. Alright, we'll do a couple more stages. We'll leave her out for the time being. Alright. Fake fan. Man, that music's kicking in now, isn't it? The music's kicking in now. We used Amir for a while, man. I feel like bringing Amir in, you know.
Where's the rally?
The chips are in the event shop. Oh, are they? Sound then, sound. We'll sort it out in a little bit. We'll sort it out in a little bit then. We'll do a couple more stages and we'll get it sorted out. Damn, your dong is pretty long. Yeah, I don't like to brag. I don't like to brag, you know. But it's pretty lengthy. Some do say.
Listen, everyone. Stay calm.
Oh shit! I really want to put it there, boy. Panic mode.
I won't sleep
Panic
on
mode.
the job.
Panic mode. Actually,
Take aim.
who's dealing with the matter? She's dealing with the matter. She got this shit.
Get around it, guys.
I watch these guys over here as well. Yeah. Let's go do mountaineering. Pulse ability in the range towards yourself, causing it to lose HP proportion to this and move when shifted. Within range towards itself, causing it to lose HP proportionate to the distance moved when shifted. What, this loses HP or the stupidity loses HP? Oh, okay. I thought it was about to pull it then. I'll say, how much range has it got, bro? Shit, I feel like maybe Ascalon should have been here, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you dirty bastard. Did he get it? I think he got it, yeah.
Searching. Here I am.
Are you gonna be a problem?
Your weapons are right at your
Are you gonna be a
fingertips.
problem?
We're counting on you again today, little apple. Take aim.
Oh, fuck. Damn, bro. That dude's doing some damage.
Target marked.
Oh, man, nearly.
You know, disappointed.
Lappy just nearly got clapped. Lappy nearly got clapped, man. That was close.
There you are.
It was actually kind of close.
Understood. Firing. Don't. Nothing can last a second of despair.
Okay, alright. Alright, let's go.
Here I am.
Yeah, Skybird Brewer video today, guys. If you haven't, go check it out, man. I was planning to react to it on stream, but maybe we'll give it room to breathe. We only put it up today. And I want to, you know, I want to let people get a chance to watch it on his channel first before they watch it here, you know.
No one can see me.
There you are.
You can't hide your fear.
Get the good old girl in there, shall we? Get the good old girl in there, yeah?
Whew. Almost. I have to get serious now.
No one knows me.
Oh, wasted that, man.
Meet your
Shit.
death.
There you are.
Want a few more enemies on site first, aren't we, really? Before we use the long dong. Yeah?
You can't hide your
Get around it, guys. Whew. Almost like that.
So long as you're here, have some hot soup for you.
Roger. There you are. Initiation giving mode enabled.
Hit him with the dong! These little fuckers just stay out of range, yeah? Is that gonna do the roots? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're done for now, bro. You're done for now. You're donezoed.
No one knows my name.
It's over for you.
I know what nothing can mask the scent of despair. They only remember my blade.
Alright, let's go. Mission completo. Mission completo. Event shop chips for the welfare, not Blaze.
Wasn't I, Doctor?
I like the mechanic though, chat. I'm not gonna lie, I quite like the mechanic. It's fun. Again, this is what I like about Ark Knights, right? Even years down the line, still
Direct memory access for application
cooking up some interesting, cool stuff.
Authorized.
So far, I quite like it. Might change my mind in a couple of stages, you know. Oh, do you know what I started watching yesterday, chat? Light Shop. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a Korean a K-drama. I'm only 3 episodes in, but man, I'm really quite liking it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's cool, man. That's really cool.
I got this. Focus.
Daily hyperglazing. Yeah, we got it. At least once a day or 10. See, there we'll get my. You know, we were talking earlier about having the friends in high places in CN. This is how you get it right. You know, bit of glazing, bit of glazing.
No need to. There you are.
Is he a fucking dragon archer?
Ooh, around, guys. Here I am.
Yeah. How you like that, bitch? Can't hide over there. You can't hide over there, can ya? Little pussy. Right, speed it up a little bit. All that cooking up. Yeah, we really need to deal with these, don't we, actually?
Searching for enemies. Here I get around, guys. There you are.
Yo, this. Oh, it's a different one, yeah.
No one knows me. Meet your death.
Awaiting instructions. Laying fire.
There you are. Roger.
Yeah, let's get Amir in there to help out with those, yeah.
Ooh, get around, guys.
Crew's putting in God's work. Crew's putting in God's work. Alright, speed it up a little bit.
Here I am.
If the enemy dragon active, you can counter it with your oh, you can do a little bit of double dragon bashing heads. Can ya? That's sick, actually.
Here I am. I have to get serious now.
Their dragon's way ahead of my dragon.
Understood.
They only review stepped into my domain.
Fuck. Probably wasn't the best placement of a. Should have put her over here, really, shouldn't I? That's sick. I like that. That's kind of cool.
Medical team.
Dragon
Please
fight,
take
yeah?
tissue samples
Little
from
dragon
the
off.
infected. We need to see the composition of the infection in this area.
Alright, let's go. Dragon docking. Touching dragons, yeah? A dragon fight. A little dragon sword fight.
Listen, everyone. Stay calm.
Stay calm.
I'm listening.
I love Cruz.
Here I am.
Ooh. Might be problemito. Nah, we're good.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Gotta get some units down here quick, yeah. Unblockable can collect up to 4 vapidity or sapidity when full moves towards derelict star. When defeated, spawns vapidity equal to quantity pick up. Oh, shit.
Get what you deserve.
You get what you deserve.
What you ordered.
I'm listening.
There you are.
Felt like a bit of lappy action. I'll go down a tree, yeah. I don't even know what immediately deals 100 attack damage as arts damage to all surrounding enemies and teleports those ground at targets that can reach you into his position. Block +2, max HP +130, attack +200%, and normal attack steal arts damage. Alright. Sounds kind of
Here I am.
kind of sick.
I have to get serious now.
No need to cover up. If secrets go public, then everybody's in the game. Patience, friend. Keep control is everything.
Don't think I'll pull bro in from there, will he?
There you are.
I'm in position.
I don't know what's going to happen here, but I feel like that might be a worthy placement.
Here I am.
Probably could have done with the heal, though, yeah. Is that going to be a wasted Ascalon placement?
This show hasn't started, and this place is already such a riot. Look, Lara, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
They're coming.
Bad placement.
Your death.
We're counting on you again today, little apple. Here I am.
Stay calm. This show has.
I need to get more, what's it here, don't I?
Almost done. We're counting
Changing
on you
the
again today, little
vapidities back. Has he picked up 4? Oh. Oh, shit.
There you are.
They only run right behind you.
Roger.
Quickly. Still misbehaving?
Oh, shit, that's got a decent range on it, yeah. Sure. I didn't realize the range that got on. It's pretty nice. Pretty
All
nice.
targets eliminated.
I really like Firewatch. Chat, I really like her. I think she's pretty fecking sick, actually. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Ooh. Stairs. Whenever I see stairs, I always think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know why. I got stair PTSD on this game. You know? See stairs and I'm like, oh, shit.
Let's see. Which insect is falling into my trap?
Why can't everyone try to get along?
Alright. Kicking off with a banger like that, eh? Okay. Alright. Okay. Let's go.
Oh, gather around me, guys. I'm listening. There you are.
Picked out your bait yet? Searching for enemies.
Here I am.
Am I going to play every stage on stream? Probably won't be able to. Oh, I will play every stage on stream, but I probably won't be able to today because it's 10 to 4.
I have to get serious now. Here I am. Arch unit charging.
I know what nothing can mask the scent of this.
What's this? What the dog doing? Oh, is he burning? Oh, he got burning.
There you are.
Oh, no.
I
Oh no.
Program and activating parts unit.
Getting cooked? Are they getting cooked? We're literally in the pan. Are we in the pan?
I know what to do. Don't order me up.
Mi so fare. I knew who you were right away.
Hide your fear.
Does that stay forever? Or does it wind down?
Oh, get around, guys.
I can hit him with the dragon, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, right.
Awaiting instructions. Firing.
Kind of want a dong battle, not gonna lie.
Don't you better watch your step.
Here I
Oh, does the dragon not affect the stupidities and the vapidities? I did fuck all to bro. Bro ate that?
Oh, almost got that.
I don't want to block him there, actually, do I? Shit.
Here I am.
Don't keep me waiting. Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
Alright, cool. Cool.
Medical team, please
They're
take
committing
tissue
arson.
samples from the infected.
Remember when the
We need
Dungeon
to see
Meshi
the
event was tough for
composition of the
pigs? Yeah,
infected in this area.
that event, man. Like when I think to like the events now, that event cooked me. Like we was on the struggle bus, weren't we? We really were on the struggle bus. Speaking of being cooked, like we were cooked. Like that was, yeah, man. That was a hard one. It was definitely a hard one. It was my first introduction to, like, I guess, I don't want to say like complex, well, a little bit more, but like, you know, first introduction to like actual mechanics, right? Oh yeah, the hit count, yeah. So really we need like attack speed, yeah. Hey yo guys, as well, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream, man. It's very much appreciated. It helps out a lot as well. Quite a stream today, but who gives a fuck, I guess. Just drop a like on the stream. Listen, everyone. That music slaps though, bro.
I'm listening. Here I am. Get around, guys.
Am I going to be wanting units up along there then?
Got it.
Oh, she's going to attack now instead, isn't she? Fucking bitch. I'm here. I need to,
Your weapons are right at your fingertips. Why wait?
There you are.
Goodbye. I knew who you were right away.
Get around, guys. There you are.
Picked out your bait yet?
There you are.
and if that was the play,
Don't keep me better watch your step.
Oh, can I? Oh, okay.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Follow me into the shadows.
Anyone hungry?
Oh, shit. I feel like... Yeah, I don't know if this is the move. I don't know if this is the move.
I know what to do to save your corpse in the shadow. No one will find it.
Ascalon putting in work, though, to be fair.
Anyone hungry?
La PSG.
Everyone believes in me.
We don't do them things. We don't do them things.
You again today, little apple. I'm in position. Hey, hey.
We're brute force the bitch.
They only remember me. Meet your death.
Understood.
Tactical nuke.
Better use your staff.
Uh-oh.
Here I am.
Stay calm.
We're good, we're good, we're good. We're okay.
Here I am.
What are we, an E2 player?
Know what to do. Nothing can last the set of despair.
What do you think I am, some kind of schmuck? Oh! I should have counted. I should have dragon counted, shouldn't I? I should have dragon counted, chat. But I didn't count to the dragon with the dragon. I should have counted with the dragon, right?
I mean,
Dragon counter.
here,
It's alright,
Doctor.
we're good anyway. Tactical nuke 102 damage. Hey, I love my damage, man.
we
Huh?
may have achieved a perfect victory, but we still.
What's
can't
going on, Baiju? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I shouldn't I? Should have had the dragons touch tails. Really should have. Fucked up. Is Alexander Isak going to Liverpool? Fuck, man. Liverpool are going to win the Premier League again, aren't they? Pardon me. Yeesh. You lost on you. Oh, damn. Should dock the other dragon, right? I want to do a dragon dock. Touch the tails. Lock heads.
Reuinion, are you to blame for this battle?
Up naughties.
Good scenery here, Doctor.
This music slaps, soul. Oh, that's a play, man. This might be a bit of an issue.
There you are. I have to get serious now.
Oh. What made you that?
There you are.
Hey.
Don't think I will save your corpse into shadow. No one will find it.
I got this.
Yeah, swap
Focus
Haskell on there.
elsewhere.
Swap Haskell on there, yeah, you reckon? Alright, we're cooking up a treat over here at the minute. Our Sylvie's well and truly. What the fuck is that thing now? Can appear on the battlefield, starts in standby, can collect up to 1 vapidity or sapidity on collection activates and becomes aerial, moving towards... Can we attack that when it's on the ground?
No need to cover up.
Get around, guys.
Meet me. Meet your death.
You sure has this spotlight shines on us.
Oh, shit. That's doing fuck all, bro.
Concentrate. There you are.
They ain't doing a goddamn thing.
Searching for enemies. We're counting on you again today, little apple. There you are.
I know what to do. Don't order me. Nothing can last this.
Oh, this is... Oh, my God.
Gotcha.
Follow me into the shadows.
Understood. Laying foot hard.
We're counting on you again today, little apple. Hey, hey.
Oh, shit.
So long as you're here.
No need to panic.
Oh, it's got a bit messy. Chat, it's got a bit messy.
There you are.
Quickly. Slow simmer on low heat. Patience.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
No, dragon dong him. I need to dragon dong him.
Support in place.
Meet me. Meet your death.
Oh, they're filling up their oven. I don't know, they're pussies. Let's dragon dong them.
Here I am.
Oh, yo. Easy. Easy. Are you cooking? So far, we haven't managed to, do any, tallywhacker tackles, like, you know? Opinion on Firewatch. I really like her. I really like her. I think she's fun as well. Like, she's not only like a cool unit. I think she's really fun. You know what I mean?
The mung bean soup is already simmered. Whether you want your beans intact or fully dissolved depends on how quickly you return.
You sounds like he's about 10.
Get around, guys.
Picked out your babe yet?
There you are.
There you are. I love Mounty's voice lines.
I know what to do. Don't order me around.
No one can see me.
Don't keep a sacred corpse in the shadow.
Get around, guys.
They only remember.
Here I am.
Spits copper coins to deal heavy damage at long range. Uses only melee attacks on out of coins. Can absorb nearby vapidity or sapidity to regain copper coin.
Concentrate. There you
Well, we need to deal with
No one knows my name. No one knows my name. Meet nothing can last a second.
I have to get serious.
we need to deal with what? Hold up a second, chat. Hold up a second, chat. Rose is just phoning me. Alright, chat, I do apologise about that. I do apologise. Pixie's fighting the dragon in IRL. Fucking... Oh, man. Annoying, you know. Annoying. I'll explain it next week. But, trust me, it's been pissing me off. Pissing me off in the shadow realm. I feel like it. Alright, let's get on with this stage, then. Let's get on with this stage. Yeah, everything's okay. It's just that finance companies just being dickheads, basically. Moving the ballpark, you know, and trying to rip us off. So I'm just telling them to fuck off, basically. So apologies. All right, let's get into it. The music's slapping as well, by the way. Oh shit. Should we bring in your boy? Yeah, let's bring in your boy. Get the double heal, yeah. Should we get the double heal? Oh, fuck.
No need to cover up. If secret, ready to fight.
Patience, friend. Slow simmer on low heat.
Oh my god, these dudes are messing me up.
I'm in position. Activating parts unit.
Roger. The show has been what I'm waiting for.
Man, they were messing me up then. Holy shit.
I have to get serious now. There you are.
Picked out your bait yet?
Oh my god. Bro, I'm getting obliterated by bro over here.
There you are.
Patience won't oil into a hot
Just we're counting on you again today, little apple.
nothing can last the second of despair.
Support incoming.
Bro, the damage is insane. What the hell? Get Gummy out. Let's get Gummy out. Yeah, bro. Messing my insides real good. Oh, no, they're about to get through.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
I'm in position. Don't keep me waiting.
You dirty bastards!
Support incoming.
Oh, no. Wow. Are you kidding me, dudes? Are you kidding me? Literally, last guy, last second kind of thing that was. That was wild. Even with the double heals, man, we were getting churned out there. We were getting churned out big time.
Let's see.
Holy shit.
What insect is falling into my trap?
I think we need a better option of a cruise, man. We need to drop cruise, I think. Need more healer coverage, I reckon, don't we? He just dipped. Yeah, bro, was just like, yo, checking out, man.
I have to get serious now.
Picked out your bait yet?
Here I am.
I didn't even see if we had the dragon energy either. You know? Did we have the dragon energy? Get the heals in early, yeah? Get the heals in early.
Better watch your step.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Yeah, let's do that.
Here I am.
No need to panic.
Here I am.
Yeah, let's do that as well.
Your weapons are
Here I am.
Oh my god, bro. Do you know what? We really got to make sure we watch it, yeah? We've got to get rid of the,
We're counting on you again today. Activating parts unit.
We've got to get rid of the whatchamacallits, right? The vapidities, yeah. Because those coins are devastating. The coins, yeah.
The show hasn't this spotlight shines on us.
Searching for anything.
Fuck, dude. It's the coins, right? Oh my god, dude.
The show hasn't started.
It's actually insane.
This place is already so there you are. Roger. Oh, I have to get serious now. You won't be disappointed.
I didn't mean to do that. Fuck, I turned her off. Shit!
Get what you deserve.
I'll turn Lappy off. I'll turn Lappy off. So, either we need some bait action on the go, right? Or we need to be dealing with these vapidities, yeah, because they're sucking up the vapidities. And okay, yeah, we need bait, I think. Oh my god. Actual insanity. Insanity.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Oh my days. Yo, this stage ain't... Woo! Okay, alright.
I'm fine. Get it together, everyone.
Now, do we use bait or do we deal with the vapidities? I feel like we could just deal with the vapidities, yeah. Are they silenceable? Could like somebody like Lappy be useful? Like Lappy, not Lappy ult.
Listen,
Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that.
Stay
Went on to the next stage.
calm.
I didn't mean to do
Now
that.
is not the time for despair. We must withdraw immediately.
Bait's easier, you reckon? Are they silenceable, those dudes? You know, get out, Gravel. You could block the frog from reaching the vapids, I think. Shit. Okay. Gravel bait. Yeah, I'm thinking bait
The mung bean
probably
soup
would
is
be the way
already
to go,
simmered.
yeah.
Whether you want your beans intact or fully dissolved depends on how quickly you return.
Picked out your bait yet?
Whew, let's get her around it, guys. I won't sleep on the job. Here I am.
I will sink your corpse into shadow. No one will find it.
I'm ready to fight. Here I am.
Stay calm.
Don't know if this is the way. I'm trying to
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
potentially break things up a little bit.
You'll get what you deserve.
I mean, hey.
Better watch your step. I'll hear you.
Yeah, we definitely need it because they're spawning with a one, don't they? Shit, yeah.
Patience, friend. Tough to swallow, huh?
Ready, guys? There you are.
The show has so far. I knew you were right away.
Here I am.
through, yeah. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah.
An arm,
The
an
gravel,
eye, or maybe
the gravel. Should we drop,
something
maybe drop
else. More
cruise,
than
maybe?
enough to trade for a few enemy heads.
Or do we drop,
Would you rather bear
nah,
the
I feel like
price of
maybe we keep
failure?
Innes.
Suit yourself.
Maybe drop cruise. Maybe drop Amir. We're not really using Amir at all, are we?
The team is complete.
True.
All operators, get ready. I'm here to help. I'm listening. I have to get serious now.
Picked out your bait yet?
Hey, aim.
Stay calm.
Here I am. Searching for enemies. Support incoming.
Okay, alright.
We're counting on you again today, little apple. Ready to fight.
Ready to fight.
There you are. Here I am. Awaiting instructions. Understood. Striking back. Our teammate charging. Ooh, I have to get serious now.
Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
They'll still blow out the arse, don't they? Damn, I feel like we should have probably just left gravel in there, man.
No one may follow me into the shadows.
Fuck.
This is the place. No need to panic.
Damn.
Anyone howdy? We're counting on you again today, little apple. No need to cover up. It's secrets for public that everybody's in the game.
I
we're
know
cooked.
what you can't hide your
We're cooked.
Get what you deserve.
We're cooked.
I mean, what you ordered. Awaiting instruction down. Gather up, my rats. No need to panic.
Fuck. And these guys do hit seriously hard, right?
I knew who you were.
Like, actually cracked. Ascalon putting in the work.
I have to get serious now.
Come on.
Gather up, my rats.
I'll heal you.
Target marked.
They only run right behind you.
Alarm's going off.
Don't keep it. I will save your coin for the shadow. No one will find it.
And Lappy's getting clapped.
I am your shadow.
Oof.
I have to get serious now.
Potentially winnable. Okay, maybe.
I will protect everyone.
Damn, we lost silence, man. fuck?
You really think you'll get away?
Oh my god, bro.
I'm listening.
Oh no. Oh no, we're cooked. Holy shit. I feel like we need to use the rapidities more. We can work on it, like, but I feel like the using the rapidity mechanic can work to our advantage there, right? You know, like really getting that. If we can get that stove cooked up quicker, you know, then I feel like we can survive that way. Ascon was hanging in hard there, man. Hard. I feel like maybe switching Lappy's skill up as well, yeah. I feel like we switched Lappy's skill up, man.
Where stand the wilds? Where stand the cities?
Maybe drop cruise. I reckon having Phantom in there as well could have potentially helped us a little bit.
Gummy, ready to go.
Alright,
Scenery here,
last
Doctor.
one. See if we can clear it, because we've got to get Rosie in a bit. It's a good job the music slaps, alright? Because I'm getting slapped.
Whew, I have to get serious now.
Picked out your bait yet?
Solid positioning.
$15 hits is here.
Your weapons are right at your feet.
I will sink your corpse into shadow. No one will find it.
Whew, gather around me, guys.
I got this. Focus elsewhere.
Concentrate.
The show has not disappointed me, my friends.
They only remember my blade.
Deploying. Whew, gather around me, guys.
No one knows my mutiny. Meet your death.
Arching, charging.
I know what better match your step.
You'll get what you deserve.
Can bro eat those shots? Can bro eat those shots?
I'll hear you. Initiation.
Asians don't oil into hot water.
Probably wasted that, yeah.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Goodbye. I knew who you were right away.
I know what nothing can match except despair.
Go on, shoot, you, me boy. Go on, you.
Program. Initializing. Initiating. Healing process.
Oh my god.
I will protect
I'll heal you.
No one right behind you.
I've been burning through those defenders in a bad way, really. You know? I don't know if that's the play.
Searching for enemies.
I have to get serious now.
I know what to do.
Shit.
Don't order me around.
Ooh, almost dozed off.
No need to panic.
Oh, you motherfucker!
You show us what are you waiting for?
Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
Waiting and firing.
Deploying.
Gather up, my rats.
Potential, 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 potential. There's some potential. He's gonna get a fucking coin, isn't he?
Don't. You better watch your step.
Oh shit. Here we go. Here's the problems. Here's the problems. You get graveling, maybe, yeah. Let's fucking throw, shit,
You'll get what you deserve. I mean, what you ordered. Yeah, Father. I knew who you were right away.
You really think you'll get away?
I think we got these. We got these, yeah. We got these. We got these. We got these. We got these.
Deploying.
Damn! Damn!
Slice them up like a millefeuille.
We got it.
How do you like
We got it. We got it. We got it. Little bit messy, little bit panicked, but we got there in the end. We got there in the end. What was that, third try?
can I help?
Not too bad, not too bad. Not too angry at that. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. Alright, yo, guys, on that note, man, I'm gonna have to call it there. I've got to go get Rosie from work in a bit. We got some stuff to sort out as well. But yeah, basically, just a finance company trying to rip us, basically. So we got to sort all that out. You know, like Darth Vader, like, pray I do not change the rules any further. Like, fuck off. So, guys, appreciate you hanging out. Been a pleasure as always. I hope to try and get on tomorrow for the live stream. Yeah, I've got some stuff to do, so if I can try and get that stuff done and we can get on in time, it's 11:30 my time. Yeah, I would appreciate it, guys. If somebody knows the exact time, post it in the Discord server for me. Yeah, so I can try and do the stream, because we just do a little short stream for the stream and go from there. All right. So thank you very much for hanging out, guys. Appreciate ya. If I don't see you over the weekend, which I do hope I do, have an amazing weekend, guys, and I'll see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Cheers.
Hey, you can't sleep over here. You're too heavy for me to